Are we live? All right, good morning, everybody. It's a 1 minute after 9 my time on the wall. I know that's not Greenwich time. And this is Bill Canada County Commissioner, Wednesday, October the 6th, 2021. And we are calling this meeting to order. Please silence your phones. And I know that Tina will remind me, she already said she would, to turn it back on later. This meeting is being recorded by our county clerk as well as by Zoom and YouTube. So with that, let's stand for the pledge and let's see if Lynn Legree, who just came in, can remember.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lynn.
Amen.
Roll call.
Commissioner Canada.
Present.
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
Commissioner Day.
Here.
Attorney Clint Smith.
Present.
And clerk to the board, Tony Kemper, present.
Hi, we got a quorum. Thank you. Audience introduction.
Lynn Legree, Airport. Bob Jolly, Airport. Bob McDonald, Airport.
Tina Jones, Administrative Assistant for
Okay.
BOCC.
All right, we got everybody. And we'll introduce people that are online. How many we have online?
We have one external.
Okay, so if any comments, we'll introduce whoever that is then. Any amendments to the agenda? Kevin, you got anything?
No,
Huh?
no, I don't think so. I'll bring it up during commissioner items. I don't think it needs to be an agenda item.
The only thing I would have is, I did talk to Adrian, his surgery success. He's taking it easy in a class, turns out. It's a training deal. Then he said he would be available for his report at 10. So we'll see. He's on for 10:15 via the phone. So he'll call in, and I think he sent copies to Tina. Is that true?
Well, you send them to all of us.
He sent them to all of us,
Yeah.
but you didn't get a copy. He was going to have Tina make a hard copy.
Let's see if I have it.
Yeah, you can make a hard copy if you want. We got them.
Yeah, I don't need one.
And if you got it, I did not receive it. Oh, wait. Oh, I just got it. Can you send it to me? I sure will.
Yeah, send them out. Okay, so that's not an agenda item to move yet, but it'll coincide. So I'll try to get him online because apparently they take a break at 10. Okay, approval of any minutes. We don't have any that I'm aware of. Commissioner items. Kevin, you be first.
I guess the main thing I'd like to bring up, I think I'm going to try to set up an in-person meeting with the gentleman from the TV networks as far as our towers are concerned, and the email is just not working. So I'm gonna reach out to them and see if I can maybe go to Springs and set up something where I can meet with those gentlemen and
Over there.
try to get something moving.
Okay.
So I thought I'd give you guys a heads up on that. And then I don't know, I suppose I'll bring it up. We can talk about it here whenever you would like to, about possibly changing our budget hearings due to scheduling conflicts. So
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to discuss right now. Conflicts are for next week. We could move them to the following week, which would be what is it over there?
right now they're scheduled for the 12th through the 15th. And then we have on the following week, we have a BOCC in Wetmore on the 20th.
So we could drop them down in a week. What would be that starting date? The 19th through the 22nd?
We had 4 days scheduled, so if we started 19th, it'd be 19th through 21.
And the BOCC meeting could be moved back to what date? 13th?
Yes, or we could even split them, I guess, and go 18, 19, 21, and 22 and leave that date if you wanted. Whatever your
Yeah, too,
guys'
that's
pleasure
fine.
would be, I guess.
What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I don't know. I just shot Braden an email and asked him what he thought.
Braden is on the call.
Excuse me, Braden's on.
Braden is on the call.
Okay, yeah, I think I would like to see it. I'm good with starting on Monday. If we wanted to do that, there's no reason not to. And split it, leave the Wetmore BOCC meeting alone. Thoughts?
Yeah, I got a couple meetings on the 19th. I just missed those, I guess. What do you think? Do Monday and Tuesdays, Thursday and Friday? Braden, are you on?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We're thinking about moving it because of conflicts. Can you support the 19th, 20th, and then skip, or excuse me, was it 18, 19?
18, 19, 21, and 22, or
Skipping next week altogether. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
No.
I should be able to do that. Yes.
okay.
Yeah, let me see here. If there's any other.
Then when would everybody need to get their stuff to you? The same date as now, or?
There certainly would be some more flexibility there. I think if everyone can stick to by the end of the week, that would still be helpful. But that will give me some more time, hopefully, to work with people one-on-one, given current situation.
Yeah.
So by the end of this week. Is that right?
By you want it
Correct.
done by Friday if possible, and then you'll work with them on the 18th, or excuse me, the 11th through the 15th or something.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
We did send out a public notice saying that the budget would be, at least the first draft, would be available to the commissioners and in the clerk's office starting next Monday or after next Monday. But
We can move that down a week.
Who'd you send that to?
that was to Alyssa at Wet Mountain.
Oh, okay.
We got time to change that. Yeah, we can change that today. That's their schedule. Isn't it? Too late.
Well, usually I don't get the draft budget until after we're done with the budget hearings.
Right.
That's right.
And so he.
He was saying it would be the following.
Following Monday.
Okay,
So
So
there's time to change that.
do we need to put a notice back in the paper of the change?
I would think so.
Yeah, I can check in with her and see if we can change that date since it shouldn't have gone to print yet.
Yeah, of course, today, Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, it's too late to get anything in probably, but it's probably not too late to put a hold on something.
And if it is, they'll have to correct it. And that'll be okay.
Yeah, and that, if we did that, that would work. Looks like pretty much for me, I
I like
have a
that.
UCOG on
Or change the date.
Monday, but I can.
I had a meeting on Monday too, that I can,
So,
I can change one on Monday too.
so,
On the 18th.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I asked Tina to contact the weed board and have them either change their meeting or meet somewhere else. They're scheduled to be in here on the 19th. So.
Get the ESO or somewhere else available.
Weeds are going.
Yeah, weeds will wait.
Yeah, the problem's not the weeds, landowners. They don't go dormant.
They don't.
Apparently, no.
All right, I think that's a good idea. Kevin, are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Tom, you want
Yeah, I think we need to probably have a motion to that
to
effect.
too? I move we move the budget hearings to the following week, and the days would be the Monday, Tuesday, which is the 18th, 19th. Maintain our BOCC meeting on the Wednesday, and then back into budget hearings Thursday, Friday, 23, 20, what's that for?
21 and 22.
21, I'm looking at, I go back and forth in September, 21, 20. All
Second.
right, it's been moved and seconded to move our budget hearings as I stated. All in favor, say aye. Tom?
Aye,
Kevin?
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
still starting at 9. Will you resend the schedule in to everybody, Braden?
Sure thing.
And could we do that today?
Sooner the better.
Yep, I'll send that out right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I think all of them started at 9, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you got anything else?
That ought to do it for me.
So let me get organized here. Last evening, I attended the things going here, American Legion meeting. Shannon Byerly gave a presentation about the Justice Center there. I know you went to one as well in Wetmore last night. Did Judge Hunter present down there?
She did. Did a fine job, and it was a pretty good presentation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sheriff Byerly did a good job. I think it was fairly well received, some good questions asked. So I think it was worthwhile. And then I had a question for us. How do we want to proceed in filling out the budget requests for commissioners?
For our budget for what we want.
Proposal, yeah.
I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the maintenance contract, which is part of that. So we're going to have to figure out.
Yeah, we still need to decide who's going to do it. and-
Right. And put together what we need. Either I or you, Kevin,
I would
he
probably-
wants to watch.
I would probably defer this time.
I'd be willing to do it. I don't have a problem doing it unless you want to do it or we want some of the process, but
No, I think if you want to put in the major blocks, that's fine. It's a starting point.
yeah, we just need to get something to him. So,
And let's discuss a couple of those items. We'll get into some of that probably in this RFP discussion. I'm going to bring it up and then that'll help get some of the items agreed to maybe. And then we can figure out what else we need.
that's all I have.
Okay. All right, I don't have anything else extra. The Justice Center briefing was a good one that Shannon did, and I like hearing what you saw down there, so. News is fit for print right now. How about you, Clint?
I've got nothing to talk about. Doesn't mean I won't talk. I've got nothing to talk about.
Okay, that's because he's busy eating his curds and whey back there.
All wiped out already.
Yeah. How about you, admin?
I have nothing for today.
All right. Any public comment in here for us to think about for later? Not on the agenda.
You'll let us know when we need to do our thing for the airport.
No, Brady
Right
did.
now, I'm kind of confused.
He's sending out a new,
Okay,
all you need to worry about is what the schedule says you're on, that Brady's gonna give you next.
You had received a schedule, correct? When you were going to appear for your budget hearing or not? If not,
Hey,
that's fine. We just need to.
Braden, if you're there, you need to send the budget hearing meeting for the airport time and date to Bob. We're going to say Bob McDonald's the ops guy that needs to be the focal point, and then copy Jolly and Lynn Legree. Bob Jolly.
Email address.
I think he.
They should have it.
So Braden,
Is he there?
Yeah, I don't have Bob McDonald or Lynn Legree's address. I did send it off to JC, and he might have been the only one that got it. He might have been the only one I had.
You can copy JC, but Bob ought to be the lead. And Tina's got it all. She'll take care of getting the addresses to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No other public comments, even though that was airport time you sneaked into.
Sorry.
All right, let's move on then with staff reports. And that brings you up, Bob. Hot seat, hot sun, front and center. You don't have to move up here. Just speak loud if you're going to stay there.
Okay, I did send a preliminary staff report.
got that.
Got it.
Do you guys have all the numbers?
That was nice, yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank you
just
for doing that.
appreciate this.
Okay, so I'll add to that to date from the first of the month till this morning, about 6 o'clock. 111.4 gallons were sold. Dollar amount 555.89. And that leaves us 2,734 gallons in the tank. Last night, about 6 o'clock, we had 1,993 gallons delivered.
When was that?
That's nice.
Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I seen. I was looking at the top number and then I scrolled down.
Yeah. So that's the difference, sort of delta in that,
Yeah.
the numbers. The pad for the 12,000 gallon new tank is completed. It was poured 2.5 weeks ago. Conduit set in it, everything's ready for the tank, which should be delivered, or it'll be finished in a manufacturing process around the first week of November. So in 3 weeks. At that point, we'll get a final invoice, and then we can set up the shipment date for the tank and get it installed.
Yeah, I went down and looked at that pad and asked Lynn about that. Do the plans call for that tank to be anchored to that pad?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so they'll just drill an anchor.
yeah, so what we'll do is I have from Penrose Steel, I ordered 2. The tank's pretty heavy, so we're putting a, I don't know what you want to call it, a load bearing plate on the saddles.
All right,
So I have some 8 foot by whatever the dimensions are, a big hunks of steel that I get laid down on, for the brackets. So
Mhm.
once that comes, we'll bolt it all down.
bolt the plates to the pad. And then
Yeah,
bolt
that weight distribution,
Right.
Got 4 legs. Or 6.
Well, it's 2, but big old, big saddles on the end of the tank.
Right. Yeah,
Oh, it is.
So there's,
So it's got a flat foot.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Big old. But yeah, other than that, we're ready.
That's nice because it makes it easy to move if we ever get a new design.
4 bolts and move it to the new area when needed. So,
and then you mentioned the crane.
yeah, well, we can't really schedule that until we know the shipment date,
Right.
obviously, but yeah, we're thinking 2 hours. Once the truck comes in, drop it off, maybe 2-hour lift or an hour, whatever.
Yeah,
So that shouldn't be too bad.
Who's doing the plumbing
The plumbing, it's already done.
as far as when the tank gets in here and the plumbing that you have to do to connect it to the system, the hookup?
We're doing that.
You're doing it, right?
Well, yeah, but 99% of it's all internal.
I got you.
So all we have to do is hook the reel to the pump. That's it. There's no reel.
And the nozzle to the tank.
Sure.
To the.
Well, yeah, well, once.
I'm just, it's just.
All the
this.
pumps are built into the tank, so there's no.
No, I understand that. I'm just, somehow you gotta connect it so it gets to the airplane.
Right.
Not
From the tank.
from the tank. That's what I'm asking.
And then,
And they're not responsible for that. We are.
right. So we'll take care of that. Lynn's gonna do it.
Nice.
You're giving him a wrench. Be careful.
Yeah, he got wrenches.
Who's the boss? Who's the boss on that project? Oh, you gotta work. If you're not the boss, you gotta work.
Classic. Classic mix up. Yeah.
We'll get it done.
We'll get it. Yeah. We managed to fumble our way through a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that looked pretty good to me.
yeah, so it's moving along.
Who poured the pad?
Excuse me,
Who poured the pad?
Mason Storm.
He came in here the other day. I think you met him.
Storm concrete.
He was looking for his invoice.
Yeah, I guess he came in, yeah. I don't know much about all that.
He may not have been here.
Yeah, I saw somebody come in wanting their money.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
Mason.
the day he got done, he goes. "Hey,
Because the airport board was pointing their fingers at each other.
Right.
I thought you had the invoice.
Well, we weren't really sure how, because he wanted paid right now. One of us got.
Well, first of all, this is a county deal, but.
Yeah, I told him, you gotta wait a minute,
Right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
so he did about 10.
So did we get paid out of cycle or?
No, he made it.
No, he was paid the end of the month, 9:30.
He made it.
So he's done.
I guess I haven't heard back.
He had the check in his hand that day.
Oh, did he?
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
I did.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I don't know whatever day he came in.
Oh, it was
The check
actually at
was
the end of the
already
month.
cleared. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so I got the check.
As soon as he got the check.
I was thinking it was before we ran
No,
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 accounts
he
payable.
got it
Yeah.
just in time.
We might want to pay him because
he's already been paid.
He's done.
I know, but I mean,
May need to begin.
we made.
He was good
from up here.
He responded.
Yes.
When everybody else was 3
Yeah,
weeks
it
out.
happened pretty quick.
Yeah, I was impressed with him personally. I talked to him for a
Did
little.
good. So the beauty is, by the time the tank gets shipped, it'd be totally cured, so. Timing wise, it worked out well. The only other information I had is lot 15 has been leased for a new hangar supposedly. We don't know any details as far as
Is that
when.
the furthest one out?
Yeah, exactly.
On the west side.
Yeah.
That's where
Where we did all the show.
Nice.
The very end of that
Yeah.
accident. Yeah,
Good.
why that one instead of not the next one in line, I don't. Jackie said about 15.
Room for
minutes.
I
expansion.
wonder if they'd rather have the back of their hangar to the west rather than the front.
And that's all I have this month.
I got a question then for you. You guys working with the, I hope you are, the capital investment plan with, that you got that letter. And you're working, readjusting it accordingly because the fuel's early and you're shifting things around.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
We want to stay on top of anybody that they're willing to let go.
absolutely. Mr. Jolly received an email about some cameras,
Weather cameras.
weather camera on the A1.
Oh,
It was FAA sponsored.
Yeah, I responded, said, we'll take them. So I'm waiting on a installation form we have to fill out.
Okay,
So once I fill it out and maybe put a weather camera down there.
that's good. What, you haven't seen it, yeah, we're still on a test mode.
Yeah.
They haven't let it go. That's weird because they said it would be within 3 weeks and it's been 4 or 5 now.
Been like that a while.
21.
What's that?
We'll be in budget.
Yeah. So,
I had a couple conversations this week. I shared them with Lynn. about Jet A fuel. I can carry that message forward to you guys. We won't be able to be at your meeting on the 21st because we just rescheduled our budget hearings for then.
Kurt Samuels.
Yes, he said he reached out to you.
Yeah.
Um,
The guy with the helicopter? Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he, I think he would like eventually to end up with a 500-gallon tank at his house, but he certainly step up and him and his cronies
To do what?
throw some money at a potential Jet A solution.
And I've been mulling that over too, because I heard about that, but I didn't know anything. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get a 500-gallon truck. Just use it for Jet A. And you can find it, I mean, you see those being auctioned off a lot.
I have access to two of them.
They'd have to be bigger than that, though. Well,
Well, the ones that DOS Aviation uses.
Yes. Really?
Oh, yeah. I was gonna actually pick them
Are
up.
they 1,000-gallon tank?
No,
That wouldn't be
they're
that big.
300 only.
300?
Yeah, but they go to the back of a pickup truck.
Well, that's a little
We had to
small.
pump the whole bit.
yeah.
That's too small.
I'm supposed to look at it tomorrow down at the airport.
But there are, there's diesel trucks out there.
Well, Bob and I were talking, we can take, on the plow truck, it's full of sand,
The 500-gallon tank on it.
but, why not, for weight and everything else, we could put one of those tanks on the back, but at least have something emergency for a helicopter or, then we have the guy with the King Airs in there. I think it might not hurt.
Yeah, Samuels was talking about trying to find a 3,000-gallon
That'd be a great idea.
used truck.
Well, that's the big truck though. I mean,
Yeah. And I think they're willing to stay.
They're willing to pony in some of it, and I bet you out six will
Well,
probably.
what's his name, Kurt?
Maybe
I
have
told
to
him,
ask.
I said, hey, if you want to get anything done, it's gonna have to be, have one pitch in.
Yeah.
He had no problem with that. Well, anyway, he's gonna show up to meeting and the 21st, okay? And we can discuss a little.
Samuelson, where is he live?
Can we poke around DIA and see if they have,
an auction every year.
see what.
Yeah,
would be
they
coming
do.
with their big-
There's another one that's potential that moved into the Lay subdivision. That is from Oklahoma, and he's pilot, and they come up here a lot. And so who's on the line here?
It was Adrian, I just muted him.
Thank you.
So it's a way to get us into the Jet A business.
Yeah, that's what I told her.
Get started.
I think
Certainly
that's
be
perfect.
a beginning if we had the 3,000-gallon pumper.
Yeah.
And he said, if there was a fire up on the north end of the valley and they wanted to stage there, take that pumper and drive it up there.
Yeah, you can move
Sell
it
fuel that
anywhere.
way. And then maybe eventually look at a
Then have
Jet A
smaller
As we grow
airplanes.
into it.
Trouble is, then you're gonna have to be ready to man the tank going down to get fuel. The truck, I should say.
Well, we could either go get it or they could still deliver, right?
I imagine, it would just probably be costly, low fuel. If we had a tanker out there.
They can top it on.
Yeah.
Kurt said the chief really preferred 4,000 minimum Jet A,
Right.
but he said they would do a 3,000 if that's all.
Let's see what's available at those auctions.
Yeah.
That's great.
We'll look into it.
We'll start.
Put that on your SIP plane.
On our agenda.
And on our capital improvement. Yeah.
Kurt said he found a couple in his research between 80 and 100 grand, and he said that wouldn't be a problem.
We'll just take one of the fire trucks and empty the water.
Yeah. So.
All right, we gotta move on here. Is there anything else?
No.
You forgot the donuts. Okay.
All right, thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Yep, everybody behave.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, enjoy it, will you?
You betcha.
Bill, enjoy your.
Thanks a lot. I'm gonna get a hold of your son. I gotta
Your
hear.
glasses fell down, Bob.
He did call me,
Yeah,
Bob.
there you go.
Oh, we're sitting again. Oh, your glasses.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna
Well, he's
say,
a-
over the glass.
Yeah, I
Oh,
I'll get to talking to you.
Where's your glasses?
He's determined to leave
He's
something.
falling apart.
Yeah, you.
Your head screwed up.
Can I have your wallet?
No, I got
I don't know, there's a lot of moths in his wallet. All right, Braden, are you on?
Yes, I am.
All right, what do you have to say?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I think that's probably for the
Fine.
best at this point.
Yeah,
We'll take you at your word.
yeah.
Yeah. So just a couple of things, just quick update. So budget packets did go out. I believe you guys received at least the commissioner side of that, as well as the conservation trust fund. So but every department has received that packet, and so I'll be working with them, I'm going to try to call in with each department and see how they're doing with that, and make sure that it makes sense that they've got all the resources that they need as far as that goes.
I'm sure they'll be tickled to find out they got a little more lead time on the budget hearings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I am too. Get ready for you, Braden.
Just to make sure that I did hear that right. So it's the 18th through the 21st, Monday through Thursday.
No,
18th and 19th.
then we skip a day.
21st and 22nd. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Correct. That day we skip is a BOCC meeting on the 20th.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any chance you'll be there?
For the 20th?
Budget hearings?
Yeah.
You think you might come?
I'm giving you a hard time.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
He had a big grin on when he asked that question, by the way.
If you want us to do it without you, we can, but you wouldn't like the outcome.
Yeah. No, I can see the grin from the camera here. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, that's good. That actually, I think I feel better about that too. So gives a little more time to shore up the numbers all around. I think aside from that, that's really been the focus right now, is just getting budget together. I do this morning from 9 until I think noon is a CIC symposium. And so they're doing a lot of updates on the various things within CIC. So personnel and accounts payable. I know the treasurer and the assessor have meetings this afternoon, but all of the finance ones are this morning. So I'm watching in on that to see what they have to offer, or what it is that they're going over. It sounds like this is something that they do every year around this time. So that's what this morning looks like. And then this afternoon have a meeting with retirement to make sure that we've got everybody becoming eligible right away, like we voted on, I think a couple months ago now. So just now getting that to be effective, but should hopefully be done this afternoon.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Any
Is
other
Lisa
questions?
back? Do we know?
Yeah.
Is she?
Yes. She's back today from bereavement. Yep.
Okay. Good.
So it sounds like you got 2 or 3 computers open in front of you anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
All right.
Any other comments, anybody?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, thanks, Braden. Thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for being flexible here with the schedule conflicts.
Yeah, no problem. Just one more thing, if I could, just in regards to Jared came in yesterday and asked about cell phone reimbursement. That was something that I wanted to at least bring up as well, given my change in the office into the jail cell where we can't have a phone. If that was something that would be a possibility as well for me.
To use your personal cell phone, you mean?
Correct. That's what I've been using since that move anyway, solely. So
Sure, all you had to do is make a request.
okay. Well, here's my request.
Okay. We'll tell you the same thing. No.
Okay.
It's okay.
Maybe I should jump on this bandwagon.
There you go. Yeah, Braden, that's, and you need to talk to Vernon and get it set up. And we'll submit the vouchers in through Tina.
No vouchers.
Or, I mean, that's right, we don't do that.
We don't do vouchers.
We do invoices.
The invoice.
Sure thing.
Of course, you probably know how that part works.
I've heard rumors on how it works anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, well, have fun at your symposium.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. And thanks for catching us up here a little bit. And I haven't seen or heard from Virginia.
She has no report.
We're going to get caught up quite a bit. Is Adrian still on?
Adrian is still on the line, yes.
Okay, he'll be there for another minute too. Vernon, you're up.
All right.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, all. I don't have a lot to report.
Well, that's all right.
Well, we can close our ears.
Okay. It's been basically the report is that I've transitioned back from working on finance and accounting stuff back to IT full-time as of about the 16th of this month.
And
So what's it? Oh, yeah, that's the side job, you know. Yes, sir. That is
That's what you do
that is a
after
huge-
hours.
That's what I do after hours. Yep. But in this report, there's just a few things that have changed a little bit. BLM inventory and payments is the big thing on my list right now. Budget work, getting ready for budget hearings, and then basically what I talked about last time, we are still looking at new ADA compliant websites and the different organizations that can fulfill that need better than what we've got right now. So I'm still planning on submitting to the American Recovery Act folks to see if we can do that. It will shift a lot of our work to we'll have the option to do things online if we are able to do that. So, but that's about it that I'm doing right now. You mentioned cell phones in your conversation with Braden, and that's also something I'm working on, is writing a real cell phone policy that will, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Gathering feedback from different department heads and the people that use the cell phones, and what we're trying to figure out what would be the best and most equitable solution for everyone. So that's where I'm at right now.
What do you know about the CCI survey?
Oh, I was completely out of the loop on that.
So was everybody.
I can work on that if you like, but I was completely out of the loop on that, which I thought was.
They're still taking comments. I forget how many counties replied, but they wanted all of them to have an input.
Mhm.
If there's something there you see that would be useful.
Okay, I can do that.
Take a look at it. Can you send him that?
I already did. You still have it?
Yes, I don't delete anything. I don't delete anything.
Yeah, I looked at it. I didn't have the information to
Okay,
fill that survey out.
That'd be you. And
I can work on that.
if it looked like it, they need rural county input because all the big counties are thinking a lot different than we do.
Indeed. Indeed.
And then send it back and send it to also to Jenny Pingeon.
I think I saw that email in the link there.
She's the one that'll make sure it gets in there
All right.
for us.
Okay, will do. Will do.
So on that ADA, I'm sorry,
Yes, sir.
that ADA compliant website that you were talking about, you said it would have the opportunity of working online.
Yeah.
You mean remotely
Well,
or?
How does that work?
so there's there's many levels of ADA compliance. Americans with Disability Act basically ensures that people can roll a wheelchair and get service in a building. When it talks about websites, we're talking about compliance for the blind, so that the website can talk to them and actually read off what's there. If a person is unable to come to the courthouse, it gives them an online option to fill out forms and permits and that type of thing. So there's levels that we're looking at. We can do a lot of what we do in the courthouse, and I'm not saying we take anything away. I'm saying we add the option. We add the option to do more filing and paperwork, printing off things that are printing off permits and whatnot, filling them out online rather than handwriting them, that type of thing. Kind of like that STR permit application. We can do that.
You're kind of full of it this morning.
I'm not, no, sir. I'm commenting on the functionality of a good ADA compliant website.
Oh, you are, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was distracted there for a minute. I wasn't sure.
No, I mean that you know, all of our form permits can be digital and can be filled out. I mean, I was amazed. I was filling out something for something else, and their PDFs were, you printed them off and you filled them out by hand. And the line spacing was so incredibly tiny. It's like, why not? And so in 5 minutes, that form became a fillable PDF that I can go ahead and type in, and it's beautiful and clean.
It just kind of gets,
So
I would like to have that capability personally. I think all three of us would like to be able to get updated, and Tina upgraded on the PDF to be able to get the bells and whistles. So
Okay.
we can edit.
So the editing of a form is, the editing of
When I say
PDFs
edit, it
is,
needs to get in and do things.
yeah, that's a software
I know.
issue.
Costs money.
It does. It costs $180 a year per user. So my budget, as you'll see when we go into budget season, my budget on data processing is what that falls under, is just redlined. So because of those
Prioritize is what I'm
things,
asking.
because of those types of things, yes. So if we're to say, let's give the ability to edit a PDF to everybody in a department, or some people in a department, we're going to have to buy that subscription,
Right.
and budget it in that department. Because like I said,
Are there other requests like that in these departments? Maybe one or two of them can do it. And then you get that person the ability to take.
Do you have a PDF editor? I thought you did.
No,
No?
We used to in here, but
but we don't.
Really? Okay.
you can't do that. Huh?
We have to ask you or
Okay.
Jordan.
Well, I can transfer one of my licenses in here. Almost every department has at least one user that can edit PDFs.
She needs it for sure.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I would love.
Well, my apologies. I thought you did. So, okay.
She probably deleted it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hammer,
I have one in my house.
For example, you know,
Nice.
just these recycling,
Either
Okay.
That I know of.
you should. That recycling contract kept getting wrapped around the axle because they couldn't get into their, they gave
Uh-huh.
permission to get in. if we'd have had it the other way, there was a blank PDF, I could have done it and sent it back and they could have used it.
So did they send you a PDF or did they send you a website? Like a web link?
It
Okay,
was a link to a PDF file.
okay. Gotcha. And with that function, with PDF editing, could download it.
Right, and just
Change
change your
it,
thing,
that type
and
of
then they can go deal with it. But anyway, something to think about.
Okay.
And
All
maybe
right.
there's a way to do it.
I will do a needs assessment on every department and make certain that they know what the options are.
Okay.
And then we can do that in budget hearing.
Did you also budget new computers for the three of us?
No, that.
Mine is
that's-
almost a year
that's-
old.
That's you guys that budget your own computers.
that doesn't work.
I don't budget replacement computers.
I mean, because mine's almost a year old. I got a little shiny spot right here.
I know, you gotta get a new one. I'll take this one from your hands, okay?
Polish.
I'm just getting used to it.
Okay.
Tina needs a new keyboard because you pour the letters off.
But I am wearing some butter off.
So that's been catch as catch can. I have a certain budget to replace things that, let's say your mouse goes out and I have replacement mices. But I can't budget for everyone across the board. So that's some people,
Departmental budget.
yeah,
No, that's fair.
especially at the
They
beginning.
should, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Like with the
Maybe-
sheriff's department, we figure that we're going to replace 2 computers a year, and we just have a cycle that we go through. One year we had to ixnay that because we needed a better computer for a mobile station and whatnot. And then they just got some new computers from the military, so that's good. So
Where we at with the-
Under Sheriff Hill has saved us all a lot of money. So.
Good. Where we at with their phone system? Has it been ordered? Are you dealing with that?
I am not dealing with that anyway, sure. I have heard from the sheriff that yes, the phone system has been ordered.
He announced that last night. But,
He told me that about 2 weeks ago. Not to me, sir.
But
But I'll be working on it as soon as it comes in, so.
who can post stuff to the county website? Who has the authority to do that?
It's not so much the authority, it's the ability. And that's Jordan and I.
Tina knows.
What's that?
Does Tina and Kelly know? Do they?
Well,
Do they have the magic?
They can post agendas to certain places, but
In minutes.
and okay, thank you, in minutes.
Trick is the
But
Google.
actually changing that is different.
Well, I like that you two have access.
I don't,
It needs to go any further than that myself.
if it goes any further, so basically they use a Dropbox. It's like, here, we're just gonna put this right here and it's gonna show up on the website. Whereas we change things. So if we gave that permission to
You don't
change
want that.
something, no, it could,
Right.
the website could literally be accidentally deleted.
So
So,
we're gonna start leaning on government entities, groups to get their minutes and agendas posted.
in the past, they were supposed to email them to the BOCC admin and posted,
So
in the
somebody
same
needs to
format.
write herd on that, and that probably would be,
I've sent out emails to the various departments that I've seen in the past. I've had minutes. Some people have been sending them to me, but not all, and I didn't know where else to take it at that point.
But I guess my question is gonna be, is that the preferred process? They give them to Tina, Tina puts them in the Dropbox.
I believe that should be the preferred process. We did have that discussion when I set up a published minutes page for every board in the county. And basically they're sent to Tina and then she can put them in the appropriate location. If we give that ability to every other department or board, excuse me, that could be disastrous.
All right.
and also somebody needs to keep. Do we have everybody, all the boards, phone numbers, addresses and emails? So that if there's a citizen that wants to know about the weed board,
Mhm.
when it meets and all that, there's some website that says here it is, but here's the point of contact. And if the minutes aren't up to date, what's the latest on X?
I do not have a web page for every board. Some boards have web pages, for instance, like the airport board. But I have not created a web page.
Do you have
for
a
every
link to it
board.
from our website?
Yes, yes.
So that could be a good thing for all the boards. I don't know that you need to have a web page for them.
Let me look through the contacts page.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me see it.
Because we need a system. If we're getting to be a bigger county
Mhm.
and more things happening and people are aware of them, they want to go to the one spot, it would be to our website, and then we can
Mhm.
refer them to others. And
Understood.
then eventually they can go directly to that board if they wanted to,
So,
if they knew.
let's see. So right now, the different boards are Tourism, Airport, Resource Center, Board of Health, and Business Directory. Let's see, let's look at contacts, excuse me.
Sheriff,
Sheriff has his own webpage.
Yeah,
did we add a link to it?
Yes,
Coroner, did that necessary?
yes, we've got a link to, we've got all the elected officials, assessor, clerk and recorder,
Okay.
commissioners, Board of Health, coroner, sheriff, surveyor, and treasurer and public trustee.
So fair boards,
I don't believe that I
tourism
have.
board.
We have a tourism board website. Well, they run their
Right,
website. We have a
but you got
link to
over
it, yes.
Got their
Oh,
minutes and all
okay.
that.
airport, tourism, library.
Library.
Whitmore Clinic. Scrabble Genealogy Historical
Maybe
Society, School
Fair
District,
Not on there.
Fire department.
Fire Department. You're right, sir. Fair Board is not on there.
Okay,
So we can create a contact point for Fair Board.
I'll shoot you an email.
As a matter of fact, if you want to shoot me an email with all of the boards, we'll create a specific board page.
Kids council, would that count?
Mhm.
There are others like that.
I think Kids Council might be in our resources.
Recycle.
Landfill has a page.
Landfill's got one.
Not under resources. Well,
Landfill's under departments.
yeah,
And that's something that we can look at is restructuring the website.
Could you
When
have
we-
like
when
a
we
search link,
create it.
like you said, all right, instead of knowing, have to know where to go to find a web page, can you just say airport?
We do have a search function, but the search function with Wix is abysmal. It's one of the reasons why I'd like to move to something else.
Well,
So,
it's in your budget.
no, it's not in my budget. That's the thing.
It is if you put it
It's
there.
not in my budget yet. So, like I said, my data processing is just redline.
I'd like to see you change the Vermont maple trees to the Sangre de Cristo somehow. When you, on the webpage, when you open it up. you know,
Oh, okay.
green,
Okay.
that isn't
Gotcha.
Custer County.
I see. Okay, we
I mean,
can,
that's real pretty,
do
but it's
that.
not Custer County.
I will, I'll have someone with a drone go take pictures of the mountainside changing and
Get some
we'll,
lights.
that's right. And I'd like to
Get some-
reintroduce my quest for a drone program too.
No, that's not what it was, an invitation.
I think you might have somebody close by that might have a drone.
No, he has a drone, but there's limits on what it can be used for. So
You
we
can
need a
have
countywide drone that
You
can
have
be
a
used for
kaleidoscope
all
of
the,
backgrounds.
all
Every
the
time they open it up,
departments
it's a
that need
different angle of the Sangres.
exactly. That's what we need to do. We'll get some better
in
pictures.
your
We'll get
budget.
some better pictures. Those are stock backgrounds right now. So, like I said, we're limited on budget.
yeah. I wonder about these entities, county, I don't know how we label those, county boards and
It's,
I don't know. Where do their minutes get posted to now, I wonder?
They get posted on the website under, there's a section out there for each year, and then when you click on it, there's a list of all their boxes, and that's where we put.
Most of them don't have any.
Under elected officials or?
That's the point, is we gotta be able to search, we gotta be able to type in something at the front end.
Sorry.
So boom. Because nobody understands what is elected officials, why you have to go there to get anything.
It's very easy to use website if you wrote it.
I know.
So let's say I'm looking for fair board minutes.
Okay.
I would probably click on here, right? Because it says minutes. It doesn't say whose minutes.
Right.
If you go up to search and type in minutes, it brings a link to all of them.
Oh. The function actually works?
Yeah.
Oh, you are on a roll.
Yeah, I know.
Not good. We gotta have this discussion, not in public.
We need a different type of website, definitely. So,
Well, I would think to that point, if you're serious about that, we ought to make a run at American Rescue Plan money to develop.
that's. So the functionality of Wix is limited. And we've run into that. We've hit the wall. So
Should be a
we use,
cheap investment.
what's that?
That should be a cheap investment for, I'm looking at the bigger picture for how county's growing and the growth of
Absolutely.
the economic value of everything.
Mhm. And it has been, and there's precedence for this. I get emails every week basically say, use your COVID money to rebuild your website and make it ADA compliant.
So we're, what, 20, 30,000?
No, we're looking at probably 10 or 11.
Oh,
It's not that big.
Not bad.
In the big picture.
In the big picture,
Yeah.
the tourism website costs $10,000 and $2,500 a year for maintenance.
right.
So there's a precedence.
Yeah.
So if we can do this, we could jump on board. There's different tiers. I have different quotes and whatnot for different types of websites. So I'm going to put together a kind of portfolio, present them to you, what I think is the best and some options and whatnot.
Good
And
idea.
then we can run with that if that's agreeable.
Yeah, I think we should make application to that committee and
Okay. As soon as they're taking applications, I have all this.
They just got their application form figured out, I heard.
They did, okay.
That's what was reported.
They're yeah.
All right. Well, if you haven't got anything else, we're right on time.
Okay, thank you all.
thank you, sir.
You sure went long for not having anything to present.
Bad penny, something always turns up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vernon.
Be well, sir.
All right, buddy. Take
Thank you,
care.
sir.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Adrian still on?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Adrian, you're up.
So you muted him.
Huh? I can't unmute him.
He muted himself.
He muted himself. He needs to unmute himself.
Okay, I am here.
Good morning.
How you doing? How are things in health wise? You good?
Everything's good. No pain today. Keeping it iced up, but all good.
All right, we're pulling up your, for some reason I don't have it. Did he send it to all of us? I don't have it.
Just sent it to you.
You did?
I just did.
Okay. I don't know why it didn't go in, but it did. This computer, there's something screwed with it. I got something that was sent 3 weeks ago, showed up as new today.
Okay, I've got him up.
And see. We're pulling it up here.
Okay, not a problem. I'm heading for another room.
Actually, it's not coming up here either.
You should have got it yesterday at 9:34, or else Tina just sent it to
I don't
you.
have anything for Tina yet either. For some reason. 9:34 yesterday
Yes,
in the morning.
that would, no, 9:34
Tuesday
PM.
night.
I didn't get it then either. Huh. That is strange. Hit send receipt. Yep, here it comes now from Tina. Okay, all right, I got it. You had to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got it too.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you have pretty much the standard report. First part deals with the budget. And this is a special note that the supplementary budget adjustment was approved by the BOCC. So that is now in the budget. And unless there's any specific questions about any of the events by date, then I'm just want to move to my notes section of the report. I do want you to see that a lot of September was spent in training, and the first couple of weeks of October are the same way, just getting trained in my position and meeting all the training requirements that were put in when I received the position. So I'm taking ICS 400 today and tomorrow in Fremont County, and then all of those training requirements that were required for the position would have been met. Are there any questions on any specific date related to training or the activities noted?
I do not have any.
No, sir, not from me either.
No, we're good there.
Okay, I just want to say on Friday, this coming Friday at 9 o'clock, there will be a tour of the fire mitigation project that the National Resource Conservation Service is doing up on a property up in the Tanglewood subdivision development. It's a very intensive project, very mechanical, but it's something that if you have not seen a good fire mitigation project, I would encourage you to come. They are expecting at least, one of you, all of you are welcome, and they just want to show you what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and help us address costs and things such as that.
Who's they, Butch?
That is Pueblo Forest Products has it. They're located over by the steel mill in Pueblo. They're the contractor. NRCS is the government agency that funds the particular project, and their local forester will be out there with the as a property owner representative, and the folks from Pueblo Wood Products will be there showing how they utilize the materials from the forest to the end of the production chain. That meeting should last about an hour. It will start right at 9 o'clock, and that'll be on Friday morning. And I just ask if you are going to be attending, or if you would like to attend, just send me an email saying you're going to be there, and we'll make certain that we don't start before you get there.
That's 9 o'clock where?
It'll be 9 o'clock. If you want to ride up with me, I can meet you at the courthouse and just bring you to the project. If you want to come up the project, all of you know how to get to the Alpine Resort.
Alpine Lodge, you're talking about Tanglewood Acres, right below it.
Yep, and if you come in on that dirt road that takes you into Tanglewood, the project is right at the gate as you enter Tanglewood on the left-hand side.
So it's 9 o'clock on site.
9 o'clock on site. And if you want to meet at the courthouse, just let me know. I'll gladly come down and pick you up and bring you up.
I can't go to that. I got a meeting in that day early.
Okay.
I will be in a legislative hearing in Castle Rock.
And I will try to be there.
Okay.
How's that? We get 1 out of 3.
Okay.
And I've been out there and looked at that with Forest Service before, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin, would you like me to pick you up, or will you come out?
Let me do some checking. I'll be in contact with you and let you know.
Okay, sounds great. And then in relation to specific training, if you look at my special notes, you'll see there are 2 training opportunities. These training opportunities will be, the state is the lead agency in putting on the particular training. There are 2 courses that are recommended, highly recommended for elected officials. The first is the 101 class. It's called Local EOC Operations or the Evolution of an Incident. And please note the time, because this is an 8-hour in-person training class that is the focus audience is elected officials, and it's designed to bring those officials up to speed on the purpose and function of an EOC from a pre-incident activation all the way through recovery. And I noted that the roles and responsibility of the EOC and the cross coordination between responders and policymakers is crucial for an operation to work efficiently and effectively. And so
Where is
that will be held locally. So
I know, but where is that?
where is the class?
Yeah,
We
locally.
have not picked the location yet because we need to know who's going to participate in what we need.
Date and time?
I would like you to give me some suggestions because I do not have your schedules. So I want to pick a date where all of you can be there if possible, and then I would like to have the BOCC invite the elected officials from the 2 cities to participate in this training as well.
So just an additional question too. You got an 8-hour course, then you got a 4-hour additionally.
Yeah, the second class is a 102 series class. It's called Emergency and Disaster Coordination for Executives. Now that's only a 4-hour class and we can do it in 3 hours. The 101 class is almost going to take 8 hours to do it, but we could do the 1002 class in about 3 hours. And again, it is highly recommended that you attend that because it focuses specifically on the roles and responsibilities of elected and appointed officials impacted by a disaster.
I think, I don't know if it's similar, but I remember Christie doing one, seemed like a 4-hour class in the late afternoon.
3 years ago.
Yeah, is that how long ago it's been? Are we
Yes.
supposed to do it every year?
They would like to have you do it at least every 3 years. And that, so that the ones who've had it bring that experience level and understanding, to the table with the ones who have not had
So
it.
so that gets us back to figuring out how much time we got. 8 hours is an awful lot to ask for everybody that.
I understand that.
I don't know how that can happen because you're looking at that as other kinds of elected officials or us and mayors in particular.
It's for the BOCC, for the 2 towns, their mayors and some of their staff if they would like to participate. So it's when we form a MAC group, the MAC groups are comprised of the 2 towns and the BOCC.
Right.
And it's the purpose is to teach you how you are to do what you have been elected to do in a kind of a comprehensive method. And we use the same teaching for all 64 counties in the state. So it brings you up to speed on what you're supposed to do, how you delegate your authority, when you delegate the authority based on our policies and procedures.
That's the 1002 class, right?
No, that's the 1001 class. The 1002 class is a more, it's a good class as well, but it covers similar things, but it covers things that are not in the 101 class.
I'd be willing to commit the time, but I can guarantee you're not going to get the 2 mayors to sit in on an 8-hour training.
No, and I appreciate that, but if they could come and at least participate in some, it would be beneficial to them as well, especially when, as we're going through the hazard mitigation revision process, they're going to want to apply for grants through FEMA. So this gets them on the same page, and they know exactly what they need to do, what their roles are, what they can delegate, and responsibilities that they can't. So they are good classes. I admit, and I told them that's a hard commitment for 8 hours, but I think you will be blessed, if you will, by participating, in that training. We're going to have an incident. It's just going to be a matter of when.
What time frame are you looking at?
We would like to do it in November, December. We would even consider October. I mean, we can come up to speeds because it's a local person doing it. So I want to be respectful of your schedules because I know you all are busy, but I would not recommend these classes if I didn't think they would be beneficial to the management of our county overall.
I think,
Who's teaching it?
who's teaching? That's the question.
Ms. Coleman will be taking a lead on some of the coursework with assistance from representatives from other counties in the state.
So let's rule out October.
Yeah, I'm jammed up. November, week of the 15th, maybe.
Okay, that we can make that work, but I want to be respectful of your schedule and your time.
If you really meant that, you wouldn't schedule an 8-hour meeting. Don't give me that.
Well, I knew that was going to be.
That was not the polite way that I was going.
Oh, it was?
Well, I'm in the 16-hour
I tried
one.
to give you a hint, but you wouldn't take it.
I know, but I don't want to tell you it's 6 hours and be in there 8.
Yeah, really.
That might be a bad week for me, but I
Okay.
couldn't tell you for sure now because I don't have my
Wednesday, Board of
tag with
Commissioners
me.
meeting. When are we meeting in November? I don't have it on my calendar.
The 17th is a BOCC meeting.
Okay.
The week of the 22nd, but not the 22nd. I'm in Denver for underfunded courts.
And you got Thanksgiving on the 25th, don't you?
Courthouse is closed 25th and 26th.
What?
But you'll be here.
Yeah, okay. Turkey.
So if you guys want to look at your schedules, you may, and just get me a couple of dates that, preferably all of you can be there. We can make it work.
Good to 15th, 16th of November.
I would be good like the 4th and 5th. That would be right after our BOCCs on the 2nd and 3rd.
Well, it's an 8-hour meeting.
Well, you have an 8-hour and a 4-hour both. That's what
I don't want to do those back to back.
I was just looking at an 8-hour block.
okay. I could do the 4th or the 5th.
Well, no, we have a
Fourth, it was
BOCC meeting on the
meeting,
4th.
November.
That's what I'm saying. November the 4th is BOCC,
We had the 2nd and the 3rd.
No, you're the 3rd and the 4th.
3rd and 4th. Second selection day.
Oh, so we moved it. Okay.
3, 4, and 17 is out.
Yep.
I'd like to do it sooner than later.
If I gotta set an 8-hour meeting, I'd rather do it when it was snowing out.
That's a good point too.
And knowing that somebody's gonna bring lunch, that's what I'm concerned about. No, I'm teasing.
We'll bring you lunch.
Does the
No hot
day I
dogs.
just suggested
No hot dog.
could not work for you guys, the 15th, 16th?
I'm good with 15th and 16th, or the,
I believe I am. I'd have to check and see, but I don't have the ability to check that right now.
let's do it on the 16th.
What month?
November.
Well, yeah, we're probably gonna have to come up with a couple, 2 or 3 dates at least. How about 16th and 23rd as possibilities? The 2 Tuesdays.
It may not work because of Thanksgiving. We travel, maybe.
Okay.
But maybe the 22nd.
Yeah, I'm in underfunded courts meeting in
Oh.
Denver.
16, 19.
The Friday, 19th Friday.
Well, you want to try the 16th and see if that works?
Yep, we can put that down for the 16th, and that's for the 8-hour one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I need one for Tina.
Hold on a second. Now, Ken and I have a little different definition about 8 hour. Your 8-hour class for us means 10 to 2.
And I'm staying out of that.
Okay.
See what Chrissy can do to modify that, baby.
So that would be like 8 to 4.
8 to 4 will work.
And what are we calling it? The 1001 EOC
sir.
operations?
Yep, that'll be the 1001. And Tina, if you can make notes for me, I left the classroom without a pen.
Yeah, I already did. I'll send out a meeting invite.
8-4.
You're
We're at-
sure that yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. You know where it'll be, or are you gonna provide
Well,
that?
it'll be maybe at the SARS building or at Wet Mountain Fire or even Lane Hall.
You'll let us know.
I'll let you know.
How many people would you expect?
Well, it'd be 3 if the mayors come, 4 or 5, maybe some of their staff, 6 or 7, maybe 8.
Okay.
You're welcome. The last time these classes were ordered, Virginia participated. So it's, the sheriff may want to participate. The tax collector or the treasurer might want to. So Kelly, it's 4 elected officials. And I don't want to exclude anyone.
Kelly's sick that day.
I've been to one.
Kelly, yeah.
I've been to
So am I. I still am within the 3-year window. Maybe I can just.
Will you
Don't
send
work
out
that
the
way.
invite to all those people? And
Yes, I will.
I prefer to have it at the SAR building versus the fire.
Okay.
That room is not conducive to an 8-hour meeting, in my opinion.
Okay, well, we'll look for using the SARS building then, Tom.
Where we had it when I.
Last time we did it was at Town Hall in Silver Spring. That'd be a way to get a mayor involved.
Well, we can look into that as well.
Gotta look into the Westcliff meeting, although that's not that great either.
I work for you guys. I'll put it wherever makes you comfortable.
Scheduling.
Yeah, and I don't want to, we could talk about the 4-hour. I'm a little worried that that's not different enough to make it worthwhile. I'll tell you the truth.
No, don't quote me on saying it because it is different. Always open.
Don't call me a breed.
Don't quote me, but I'm telling you, it's different. God. All right.
All right, so we got a couple of dates for that.
One.
If
Just
I may
one date.
move on.
Yeah, we only have one date for that.
Okay, so we have the 16th. I need one more
For the 4-hour gig that you guarantee is different.
for the 4-hour class bill.
You're killing me.
I know.
10th of December.
10th of December will be fine for me.
Sounds out.
What's on that?
I'm going to Nashville.
CCI.
So first,
29th, 30th, and the 1st.
4 hours.
4 hours. And I think we can do that one in 3.
But don't quote him.
Do it the afternoon of a
You
bill.
get it down to 2, it's sold.
So you want to do it the afternoon of the 17th is what you're saying?
I was thinking the 8th or 9th, or the 7th or 8th. to be honest
I'd
with
rather
you.
have it then. I could do it the 8th.
So that 16th date's not gonna work for me. I just found that out.
16th of
That week it doesn't really work for me.
November.
Yes,
That's about it.
I could do the 23rd, 22nd, 24th. I could do that week, or I could do the week before.
Conflict on the 23rd.
Let's
Bill.
do the 22nd.
I'm out of town.
The 23rd, I thought you guys all said was a good date for all 3 of you.
No,
You
well,
still with us there, Adrian?
Hmm?
The 16th is not going to work.
Okay, you can pick another one.
Well, maybe 20, I'll try the 23rd. I'm just a little worried about traveling to Thanksgiving to
Well, it's local, so
Oh.
possibly.
Yeah, I'll be here on the 23rd.
23rd will work for me.
And the CCI is what day?
The 29th, 30th, and the 1st of December,
29th and 30th.
the November, and the
November.
1st of December.
Yeah, darn, see, that makes it tough. Okay.
23rd,
Okay, 23rd it is.
that gives people Wednesday to travel. I'm not going anywhere, but you guys might be, so. Okay, so 1001, 8 to 4,
SARS building.
SARS, EOC operations.
Okay. And then what was the date for 102?
Do it in the afternoon of the 7th or the 8th, gentlemen, after a BOCC meeting.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Wednesday, the 8th.
I'll do it.
What time?
Waiting on Kevin.
We're on what day?
8th.
December.
The 8th of December. Well, I can do that, yes.
That work, Adrian? December
Yep.
8th, 1 to 4.
Yes, sir, that will work.
For 3 hours.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's 1002.
That's 1002.
Emergencies for executives, which we're in that all the time.
Yep,
1 to 4. Same deal.
yes, sir.
You expect same numbers of people?
I will send out the invites and I'll let you know prior to the meeting how many people will be participating.
Okay. SARS building too.
Yes, we can do it at the SARS building if it's not scheduled.
1, 2, 4.
And then I need you to go to Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District from 8 to 6:30 the day after on the 9th. You want to do that?
Yes, I can do that.
8 in the morning to 6:30 at night?
I'll make it work.
I know you would, you rascal. You're no fun to pick on.
Shoot me an email, remind me, and I'll get it on the calendar.
No, you do not want any part of that.
Okay.
I'll do that. But that's maybe not a bad plan. We go to one of yours, you come to one of ours.
No, that's how you learn.
All right.
And will Christie be teaching that second one too, or no?
I don't quote me on who the teachers are, and I'll get you that information.
That has a lot to do with whether or not we go to a meeting. We don't like the teacher, we ain't going.
Okay. I'm here to please.
Are you still playing hooky from your training? You better get back to business.
I need to get back. So the last thing I just want to mention is the variable meshes thing. I did listen to the Board of Health meeting last evening, and I just want to have you check your emails, but I actually sent it to you yesterday also, but I did send out a draft policy on the 28th of June on the use of the variable messaging signs. And that
To
would
me,
be
like that was a cut and paste out of the owner's manual. I didn't see anything in there specifically about us in Custer County and guidelines to who is and who isn't.
Well, I would agree that it was a cut and paste
Okay, all right.
from the state manual. So you're absolutely correct. It was a cut and paste.
That's why it didn't get any traction from me. I was hoping a little more grassroots, Custer County, how are we gonna handle
We
it?
still need to know, and
So-
you've had some thoughts on that. But we
Yeah.
need, how do you prioritize it? You're the traffic cop on deconflicting sign usage between a sheriff and a and a need for the school or something.
I'd be willing to work with you on developing policies and procedures for that if you want.
I would love that.
You hear that, gentlemen? He would love.
I can't not believe that.
It's kind of like he embraced the idea.
He's a masochist.
Yeah, that's right. There's something seriously wrong with you, Washington.
No,
Yeah,
because,
when
no,
when you're free, give me a shout. Let's,
okay, I'll do that, Tom. We'll get that and then we'll get that knocked out so everybody's happy.
if it goes the way I think it should, I'll buy lunch. How's that?
I like it.
How about that?
Take note, Kevin and Bill.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want him to love working with you, there you go.
Buy him lunch.
Buy him lunch.
Or vice versa, you
Just a side note, he
you want to
loves,
avoid him, don't buy him.
Don't buy him lunch.
a side note, he does love hot dogs.
And pie.
That's true.
No Polish dogs.
Cool.
And then tomorrow morning from 9 to 9:30, there's going to be a conference call to discuss making sure we are ready for an audit that's going to be conducted later in December. It's not something that you have to listen into, but if you would like to listen into, I can send you the link. Braden has been invited and his staff has been invited because it primarily affects financial policies and personnel policies. And they want us to really understand that they're not here to beat us up, to tell us what we need to do, but they just want to make certain that as we apply for grants and we use money that's grant funded through the federal government, that we are doing exactly what they require. And so they're on our sides. They just want to make certain that our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed, and we're doing everything the way that it's supposed to be.
Who's the they?
It's the state of Colorado, the way it works. FEMA gives money to the state gives money to the counties.
I know, I got it. I just wondered what department.
Let me send you, I'll send you the actual email at lunch break and you'll see exactly who state agency, but it's going to be the Colorado Department of, I shouldn't know this by heart, but it's emergency management is the one that manages most of the funds that receive. So they will, the finance department for that agency will
Right,
be.
so from my point of view, you're on the hot seat is what, and you're pushing.
No, actually,
your luck
I am
to get
not
us
on the
there.
hot seat. I'm not on the hot seat at all. It's we are on the hot seat.
Right. We already got you already sent us all the link and the invite.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah. So no one's really on the hot seat. It's just
No,
to make
we get
sure
it.
that we're doing it well. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks for taking your 15 minutes,
All right.
this last 30. Appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You guys
Yeah.
take care.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break here between gigs. So it's 10:30 now. We'll recess for 5. All right, we're back with everybody. It's 10:42 on my clock. And we're ready to continue. So we just got finished with our staff reports. Any unfinished business? Tom,
No, sir.
Kevin? No. And neither do I. Brings us on to the new business side, and then we'll allow public comment for each agenda item. There's 3 items that we have for today. Consideration of a job description for road and bridge supervisor, consideration of the Colorado opioid MOU, and a discussion for the RFP for the maintenance contracts. Well, with that, let's consider the job description for road and bridge, and we'll allow discussion on anything that we vote on before we vote. Okay, who's got the helm on the road and bridge supervisor?
Well, to be honest with you, I was surprised it was on here.
Didn't you tell Gary yesterday to write up a job description?
You did, but
Yeah, we did.
it's on the added.
It was already on it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get anything from him.
And so that's the whole point there. It was on here already. It's too late to change it. And so, well, I think we're good for now.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we give him some direction on what we wanted to do and the dates? And so I would move to table this until such time as we can have Gary report back to us.
So let's throw it on to the 15th for now.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded to move this and
To the 20th.
to the 20th, changing that date.
Yeah, well, in that case, I would move to postpone it until the 20th.
Okay.
I
We're gonna
would
resecond that.
do a resecond.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to postpone this discussion to the 20th.
And will we let Gary know that via email?
Okay, all in favor, say aye, Kevin.
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and aye.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 board packet attachments for the next.
Yeah. Okay, that brings on the next one, which has a lot of pages to it. I went through that last, when we were going to talk about it. So that's consideration for the Colorado opioid MOU. And Tom, you had that
I
initially.
did, I asked that to be put on there. It's in our board packet. As part of the, I think we're region 21, I could be wrong. As soon as I say that, I'll look up and go, oh crap, no,
I thought it was 15.
15 maybe, yeah.
It is 15.
Is that mentioned in one of these docs?
Saw it on the graph.
Yeah, I saw it on the draft too. I don't see it in this MOU. but
Yeah, it was on there's a picture of it.
Right. So every county, every entity is being asked to sign these MOUs so that we can move forward. I submitted the names. There was a question about Wetmore. And so I emailed Mike Oral and I told him that Wetmore is not an incorporated municipality in Custer County, that only the county, Silver Cliff and West Cliff
Yeah, reply.
are eligible. I did not get a reply from him, but so I'll be honest with you, I didn't read every line of every one of these documents.
I think they're similar.
The general idea here obviously is that lawsuit has been dealt with. I think Colorado gets $800 million over the next 30 years. Colorado's going to take a percentage of that 800 and sort that off into the different regions made up of those counties and municipalities and funnel that money off per year. I think the last, see if it's in this summary
I
one.
don't know that it did actually tell us.
60%, sorry, let me go back. So 10% goes to the state, 20% to the local governments, i.e. us, 60% to the region. Sorry, 20% to the local governments. We're part of a region, 60% goes to the regions. And then
So the two towns get a piece of the 20%.
that's my understanding, yes.
60% is to local.
Directly to the regions, called the regional share, yeah. And
So
that's
the regions are like whatever, we're in region, what was it?
Region 15, which I think is the same as the judicial district. I think it's the same four.
It is, it's the same four counties.
So 60% of the settlement funds will be allocated to single or multi-county regions made up of local governments, and that's where we fall into.
But we don't, that percent, we don't know what that means in dollars.
And that was 10%.
10% goes to a statewide infrastructure share.
So 10 to state, 20 to local, 60 to regions, and 10
To the state infrastructure, statewide infrastructure. And region 15 is Park, Chaffey, Fremont, and Custer. So yeah, just follow the judicial district.
And just for my notes, what was the lawsuit for?
Yeah, good point. So the lawsuit was filed against several companies for lack of a better word, opioid prescription abuse.
Big pharma.
Big pharma, really, yeah.
Johnson was named and so.
Of course, they claimed that, wait a minute, we're not writing these prescriptions, we're building the drug. But the lawsuit really boiled down to, yeah, but Big Pharma leaned on these doctors and pharmacists to sell as many of their drugs as they could, and led to the big opioid crisis. So I'm looking, gentlemen, at the document entitled Colorado Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding Summary. That's one of those. I was trying to find the exact dollar amount here.
The number 23 billion is the exact total amount that was for the settlement.
Yeah, and
wrong on that.
I think 800 million of that was for Colorado.
I never saw.
Just a second, yeah. I could go back and pull some of those emails if you want. I don't think it's addressed in these, but. So I guess unless you want me to go pull those figures real quick, which I can do that through my email, give them just a second here.
And I think they address this at CCI as well, correct? That
Yeah.
this is what we were.
Let's see. I was wrong. I got an email from Attorney General Weiser. The litigation resulted in settlements with the pharmaceutical companies, resulting in up to approximately 400 million for both the state and Colorado local governments. So it's not 800, 400, off by a factor of two. So
60% to the regions And there's 16 regions,
19.
regions. So it gets down, winnowing it down pretty small.
Yeah, and Colorado needs to have 95% participation from local governments to participate in this settlement. So it's critical that we all get involved. CCI, of course, CML has been involved in that. So,
Including the local governments, right?
yeah, they go through under the CML. And then I think you probably were copied on those emails that we got a grant from the Attorney General's office for $30,000 to hire a company out of Texas to get this process started. Pull that up while we're
Each
at it. No,
county got-
no, our region,
Region.
yeah.
So that would be the Attorney General for the,
For Colorado, I thought originally they thought it was 20 and they ended up getting 30, but I might be behind.
who's the regional lead that would,
Mike Oral,
for our region?
yeah, Region 15. Yeah, so $20,000 from a planning grant from the AG's office. 8,700 from Fremont County Public Health, and the remaining $7,300 will come from the settlement funds, and that's to hire this company, Stedman Group. And they are going to facilitate getting this whole process going. It was $36,000 a year
36,000 for the year.
for Stedman, yeah, for a period of 1 year out of Houston. And let's see, I was off. I'm sorry. I got too many numbers. Fremont County's agreed to be the fiscal agent for this whole grant.
That's what I said.
Settlement
Fremont County
process.
when they asked me.
And it's predicted that our region will get $300,000 a year for 18 years. Sorry, I was all goofed up. That's not been confirmed yet, but yeah, that's what they're
Per
predicting.
year for
Mhm.
18 years.
Yep. Yep, up 5.5 mil.
Starting when? When did,
2022 is when they expect to get all this stuff in place. And I'm only talking about our region. I don't know about any other regions.
that's,
So,
well, I see no reason why. It sounds like we have to participate. We'd be silly not.
yeah, well, we don't have to, but we'd sure be crazy not to. That's exactly right. Because it's not going to cost us anything other than, I think there's 6 of us in Custer County that sat on that regional commission. You heard Dr. Brown yesterday say he was on it, Pat Fiore and myself, Joni Liebman, Sylvester Health. Her name.
So Vista,
I lost it.
starts with a D.
Desiree.
Desiree Lepka, and I think there's one other one. So maybe somebody from the school. And so given that, then I would suggest that we just go through these documents one at a time as they're numbered. Colorado Opioid MOU.
Exhibits. There's an MOU and then there's,
Yeah, I was just numbered 1 in our board packet is how I had mine. Is that how you guys show yours?
which is the MOU for.
Yeah.
It's signed by Wise, whatever his name is. Attorney General. So he signed it the 26th of August, 2021. That's Wiser. And they're asking for a county representative. This day, but, okay,
And are you on page?
21. and 20 and 21.
Yeah, they do have Custer County, Silver Cliff and West Cliff, so he did update that.
I didn't see them. I don't. Where'd you see that?
That's down below in Exhibit B, I think. Yeah, Exhibit B. Those aren't numbered.
Exhibit A, Exhibit B.
Page 2 of Exhibit B is where Custer County is listed. And then I thought there was another exhibit page that also
I
needed.
just have Silver Cliff and West Cliff.
Yeah.
There is another page, there's several of them. But this first one, that's the first MOU with the exhibits.
Right. And then Exhibit G1 looks like a signature page as well.
Well, I put all the signature pages to the side with sign it.
Yeah, I've got those.
Okay.
So I would move that we enter into an MOU as a participant in Region 15 for the opioid settlement.
Second, that
It's got three, there's three signatures, or three that are required.
Yeah, we'll go down, let's approve them and then we can deal with the signature.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the entering into the MOU for the opioid settlement. And any discussion?
I was just gonna say, I don't know, if it's dated here Thursday, August 26th, 2021.
21st.
Well, that's when Weiser.
Well, that's when
Send out bids, yeah.
you're right. The
I'm
revised
just
date
looking
is
at the title.
August. You looking at which is the date? Where's the
I was
date?
looking at the title, the memorandum of understanding, the date right below that is August 26th.
The first MOU is dated, you're right, August 26th,
Mhm.
Thursday, August 26th.
So I would just add that to that motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to accept the and enter into an agreement on the MOU with the opioid settlement. And it's the first one is we're going to go by the three signatures separately. Or we're gonna approve all
Yeah.
three at this.
Let's approve them and then we can just sign them.
So there are the opioid settlement itself, a memorandum of understanding on the 26th, and then there's Exhibit K. Two signatures on Exhibit K.
Right.
Okay, any discussion?
Good.
Good,
I'm good.
all right, all in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye,
Aye.
sorry, I jumped in there.
that's okay.
The MOU summary. I don't think that needs a signature. I think that's strictly just a summary page, so. And that's where that map is.
Yeah, that's where the map is, and he signed it on page 20. And 21 was the signature page.
Not on the summary though.
Yeah. That is the summary.
I've only got
The summary is only 4
4 pages.
pages.
Oh,
5 pages.
Yeah, fine.
well, maybe you missed this one.
So there is another well, that's, no. The FAQ page was the third
You're
one.
looking at 26, 21, and he signed this on page 20.
That's the,
One, isn't it?
Is that the MOU?
That's
That's
the
the
MOU
MOU.
itself.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's what you were,
We just approved that. No, I was looking at the next document.
Oh.
I was just going through that list.
okay.
22.8
So that summary page,
billion plant. Okay.
Was it the total?
Yeah.
I don't have that summary page.
Um,
The one that was,
the second one I brought up does not get a signature.
oh, I understand that.
Okay.
She's got three here.
Okay, Exhibit K has a signature.
Yeah, And Exhibit K again, there's on
Exhibit
86.
K, distributors 9/18/21, exhibit updates has a signature.
Okay,
Those are all part of the original MOU.
Yes.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what I had that you gave. me.
Okay.
That's easier. So I have page,
He's looking for the second document.
this is the subdivision escrow agreement.
Okay,
Okay, that's one. The other one you gave me was the Exhibit K subdivision settlement participation.
Right, 5 and 6.
And the other one was, that you gave me was page 88 of the Exhibit K for settlement participation form. And the one that I don't have is the one that,
This is a summary that
yeah,
Tom was just talking about.
right,
there should only be 3.
no, there's 4,
So the original MOU,
page 21. And that has a signature there. Right after his signature, on page 20. And that's this Colorado opioid settlement understanding is signed this date.
that's the MOU.
Yeah.
Okay, so we voted on that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
voted on all of them,
No,
or on this MOU, and I don't have that signature page.
I get it. for you.
and Exhibit K,
Now you're talking. Settlement participation
under the Janssen opioid,
or the,
it's, the signature is on page 88.
yeah, we got that one.
Is that,
So the settlement
We need to sign
participation
that.
for Exhibit K, we need to sign.
right, so I would move that we approve Exhibit K settlement participation form that specifically deals with Janssen settlement.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to sign Exhibit K settlement participation form of the opioid settlement. Colorado opioid settlement. All in favor, say aye. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
I would move that we also sign Exhibit K, which is the participation form. Basically the same stuff, just a different title.
Second.
And that's, sorry, let me,
No, go ahead.
no, it's okay.
Go ahead.
And that is the subdivision of that settlement participation form. It's to the distributors, not just the
What's that one
manufacturer.
titled?
Subdivision settlement participation form.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept and sign the Exhibit K subdivision settlement participation. Discussion more on that.
That just gets to the distributor portion. The first one was for the manufacturer.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
And then the Colorado subdivision escrow agreement. I would move that we sign that document as well.
Second.
Been moved and
Colorado escrow.
Colorado subdivision escrow agreement.
Been moved and seconded to sign the Colorado subdivision escrow agreement of Colorado opioid settlement. Memorandum. All in favor, say aye. Kanda, aye. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Oops. Recopy the settlement agreement, will you please? Does it-
And I think that is it. The rest was information, the FAQ and the summary.
That's 4 signatures.
Clint, did you get this whole email or no?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'll send it to you if you didn't mind,
I
but
was sitting there looking through it.
okay.
We're just along for the ride on all this.
Yeah, we really are. You know, and we certainly, I believe there are opioid issues in our county, but nothing compared to Fremont and Chaffey. So I imagine the
Opioids hit
lion's
everybody.
share of this money will end up being down there, but I'm assuming by population percentage or something, we'll see some educational dollars or whatever.
Just confirm that's the right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them all
You
back.
gotta use that for a certain.
It has to be on opioid prevention and recovery.
You have a blue ink pen over there.
I'm sure I do.
Okay. Done.
It's just.
And I think those all go back to oral or real, however you pronounce it, ORRIL.
The frequently asked questions are important to read. Okay, ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just a quick discussion that I wanted to have. It's not, we've already voted. This is the discussion on the maintenance contract. We already voted to proceed with a maintenance contract that involved a prime contractor and the 4 trades, major trades, plumbing, HVAC, electric, and construction. And so I wanted to run through things because what I'd like to have happen process-wise is I've talked with Clint. We're working up the language to put out an RFP. And timing-wise, I'm looking at the RFP going out sometime in the end of this month, which is October. So anytime during it.
Okay, so you said plumbing, electrical, construction.
And HVAC. And so I would like to see an RFP that I'm putting together. We voted to do it. And what I would like to do is get some clarification on a few things that we'll agree on that need to be in that RFP here in a minute. And then once it is, I'll write it up with Clint, a final RFP and run it by the board. Email wise, we don't have to have a meeting and talk about it. We can have, if there's some issues with what we come up with, then we can discuss that and then get it out. I'd like to release it. And then have them submit we would review it, as I mentioned, then we'll have a bidders conference. Because this involves all the county buildings, and that person, a prime contractor, needs to understand what the buildings are that are involved, look at what the heating systems are, the electrical issues, the plumbing, and all those kinds of things in order to bid intelligently. And then have the bids submitted by 5 p.m. on December the 17th.
And when do you want to send them out?
Toward the end of this month, the last week in October. Or the first week in November, if it works out that way. But that gives them, and then schedule a bidders conference.
Due back by December.
Yeah, I want the bids submitted, and this is debatable, we can decide, but 5 p.m. on December 17th seemed reasonable.
Okay.
And then we would announce the winner on the 30th of December meeting,
December 15th.
December 17th, 5 p.m. And then announce the winner on the 30th,
Okay, why don't we make that 4 p.m.
Yeah.
That's close.
or 4 p.m. Yeah, I said 5.
Announce.
4 p.m. Announce it on 30th of December at our BOCC meeting. And with a start date to proceed on January the 17th. That's what I propose, process-wise.
May 13th versus January 1.
Yeah, and the reason is because you come in, we got to organize ourselves, get the meeting set up for what the dates are, and then bring the contractor in to talk to them and let them start taking over on the 17th.
And so do you envision 4 different contractors
No.
then?
I envision one contractor.
Oh,
There's
Could
one
do all
point
of
of
this.
contact. And here's, let me go through that.
Okay.
I just wanted to get the big picture first. So what we just would like, the authority to proceed, we want to agree now that we were going to press on with the RFP, which we've said, let's put together. Process would be to review it with the BOCC and Clint before we release it to the public. Have a bidders conference, submit the bids, as we said, by the 4 p.m. on the 17th, and then announce it on the 30th. We can talk about, if you want to talk about when to turn them loose. I just picked the 17th.
as far as now, doesn't matter.
Okay, so that's it. So now let's talk about the big picture. So this is for all, just to remind you, it's for all county buildings for the maintenance and for the preventive maintenance things that they would be accountable for to make sure we stay on top of it. First question I'd like to ask is, how does that fit with our current maintenance program guide that's for maintenance? Are we
Yeah,
gonna,
there's no reason to pay somebody to do the stuff that he's gonna do,
That's
change
right.
filters, change light bulbs,
Right.
you know, that kind of thing.
if we want to keep him doing that, or we let this contract take over the whole 9 yards? Just hold that thought for a minute. The process would be one contractor would be, it's called the prime contractor, and then they partner with subcontractors to present the program to us, the county. And so that one prime contractor, I envision it being required to take on one of the trades, whether it be a prime, a construction company, or maybe he has the ability to do 2 trades. That would be up to them, but one trade in particular, and then team with the other 3 trades, so plumbing, electric, and HVAC. And then compete those guys for a contract for another person could come up with another group of different contractors within the county and compete it for a 1-year contract with options to extend it for 2 more years, 1 year at a time. So it would be to renew pending an annual performance review at the end of the first year. If they're performing well, then we would allow that to continue for another year pending the performance review. And then after that, another year. And the reason for that would be you have 3 years of continuity. And if they're performing well, then that's fine. And we have one point of contact that would come to the board for different things. And I'll get into that in just a second. So that would be my recommendation, a 3-year contract, basically, with the options to review them and either cut them and run and recompete it or go to 3 years as we go. So then all 4 major trades, HVAC, plumbing, electric, and construction are part of it. The bidders conference that we've mentioned already. The prime must be capable and responsible for all the trades. In other words, that person is accountable. We're looking at that main contractor, the prime contractor, for if the plumbing guy screws up, well, we're not going to deal with the plumbing guy as he is, and we're going to hammer him, and we're going to deal with that prime contractor. And if he loses because of poor performance by the other subs, then that's too bad. It's the way it is. We're not going to look at it as one contract. The prime will manage and make a maintenance budget. So let's talk about that for a second. We shouldn't have to be bothered as the Board of Commissioners if we have a leak in the ceiling and it needs to have some major repair to it on the outside and tar it or not. it'd be up to that guy to take a look at it and decide, is it whatever budget we give them to maintain at a time, maybe it's $5,000. If it exceeds that limit, then they need to come forward with, if it's a major replacement of a HVAC system or a major overhaul of that roof, then they need to come to us with what the budget requirement is. And at that time, we would have to decide where that money comes from, or we budget it during our budget discussions this year, and we say we're going to have a maintenance and repair, preventive maintenance budget item that the county commissioners have that are sitting out there until it's needed, and this contractor comes to us and convinces us that he's got it handled and he needs to replace the fan. And we would turn him loose to do that, and we would have to allocate the money for him to manage to meet that need. So we propose the maintenance program, then we would propose and manage the replacement and repair of the major items that might come up in any of the buildings. That's why it's important for us to have the bidders conference so they know what they're biting off to take a look at and maintain for us. So we need to figure out what that budget must be. Additionally, that contractor must be licensed and show proficiency and be bonded and insured. So it's not a county employee. This is a contract with the county, and we are not responsible for their employees' benefits. And they have to have one of the criteria in the RFP would be they would need to understand that when we call, they haul. We're not held hostage like a normal organization, because we're giving them the ability to be our contractor. So they're going to have to prioritize their work. If we have an emergency with a heater, then Joe Blow that wanted them to work on a heater is going to be put behind us. And that's how they'll have to manage it to make sure that, and we'll have to pick a time. If we want to have them respond the next day, or we want to give them a week to figure out and get things going, it's something we need to discuss. And we can work that out before we release the RFP, because we want them to understand that they got 5 days to be active, and they're going to, or 3 days or a week. And then, so that means it must be private. And that means we're not giving them a stipend. We're not giving them a chunk of money to be on call or a retainer. It's just as we need them, they're coming just like any other time that we do it normally in the year. Today, it just, the difference is because they are our prime contractor and we're not having to go out on a bid and go through the hassle of recompeting all these trades each time something comes up. That's the benefit to them, that they know they're secure in that job, at least for the year. And if they perform well, it could be extended for a total of 3 years. And so what I would, let's see, note it's not an employee, it's contracted by the county. So that's where we are right now. It's I want to agree on that we're going to push the RFP out according to the schedule I just outlined, and we'll review that before we release it with all of us. And it'll contain the criteria that I just said in a statement, the RFP itself. So questions, and let's discuss it. But I think this is a great step forward, given that all our buildings are in need of help now, and that's probably going to be a routine thing until we get the major capital improvement. And then, of course, they could rebid if it's a new contract for some construction thing. That same company, not necessarily the company that is in charge of all four of them. They don't get a leg up. They just compete with everybody else for a major repair or on a county building.
So we're really looking at a contractor to do the work for the county using subcontractors or themselves.
Right.
We don't deal with anybody but the contractor.
Only one person.
And we're not going to pay that contractor unless work's performed.
Right.
We'll enter into an agreement.
And that's the contract that they will be responsive for that year.
Right.
And if they don't, they lose the contract.
So as far, and I appreciate the 4 trades, but that that's not really gonna involve us.
No.
That's a second layer under the contract.
So now they're on contract and Kelly calls up and says, I've got I'm freezing in here. I don't know why.
Or Jackie Hobby calls up
Jackie
and wants a fan.
wants a fan.
So then we would contact the contractor and say, we have a need, we need an exhaust fan in the
Right,
bathroom.
and it wouldn't be us. It would be Jackie. Once the contract is let and they know we have a maintenance program, then that department or the building, or whoever's account, SAR building, or do we own the SAR building? Is an issue, then they can call this guy. If he's like a on call. And then if it involves an expense that is not within what their budget ability is to spend just to repair a quick thing, they have to come to us to okay the additional expense. So we don't get
Yeah, so
involved.
you're saying we would set a spending limit to the contractor
Mhm.
on an annual basis.
Right, that, well, like, based on what we've seen history given us right now with our maintenance.
So let's just say, for sake of example or for conversation, the RFP says you're gonna be given a $5,000 spending limit with no authority needed.
Right,
This is your authoritative spending limit, it's $5,000. So then any department could contact that person. But if it's over that,
major
I'm
expense.
assuming the contractor then would come back to us.
No, that's a requirement.
I'm not sure departments should go directly to the contractor. I just don't know. I haven't thought about
Think
that.
about it, because I don't see a reason for them to say, Tom, we got an issue here and you're gonna.
Well, one of the things I would think is, let's use Jackie for an example, her request.
For a fan.
Is that something
If,
we should filter through our process first to say our maintenance person can do that? The fan, no, but let's say it was something else. I'm just not sure about the
well,
department heads going direct to the
so
contractor.
take another example. I see a leak in Laura's office, the roof.
Right.
Rather than having us go in there and look and say, oh yeah, somebody we ought to call, let's let them call that contractor. He had no cost. Now, it's still, he's got to come to understand what he's got. He has the authority to fix it if it's a small leak. Or if it looks like a major problem, he's obligated by the contract to make sure that we authorize them to proceed with money or a major.
Additional outside of that spending limit.
That way, it takes the middleman out and it gives a little quicker response to get it fixed. And it also frees up our time. We don't have to deal with it.
Kelly.
Can I comment? on
Sure.
that? I don't know that I, as a department head, want that responsibility, because what if Jackie and I and Laura all have a problem the same week,
Mhm.
and it's a $4,000
Right.
fix for each of us.
Right.
So
So,
it's under the 5,000, so the contractor
No, it's
goes out
not.
and fixes.
no, see because remember, he's accountable
There's
for
been
all.
an annual.
He only has $5,000 and now he has to prioritize it. And now let's see what's bigger problem. And then it blows through his budget with that one. Then we have to figure out how he continues, because that repair is expensive enough to warrant another allocation of money from somewhere else to refill his pot to continue asking answer.
5,000 max, not a
Right.
per incident.
Annual.
And so then are you gonna give us a list of
No, you just
what
talk. You got a problem, whether you're freezing or whether you got a broken window, you need to call that person so he can take a look and understand what it means. And
So we're just talking if we need a light bulb changed, we'll know that we can call Dave.
sure, well, I don't know. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Dave anymore. Maybe it's that person. And it doesn't have to be, for example, it doesn't have to be the guy that owns the company. He may point, it's up to him how he manages. He could give a point of contact, a help number. Here's your maintenance number for you to call anytime you got a problem.
I wouldn't think we
I
need
just don't
a,
want to make a phone call and to get something fixed and then have you guys say, well, what the heck did you call him for?
No, that's why it's up to him. We have to trust him, see, to fix the little thing, just like Dave does today.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I follow that line of thinking, unless you're considering terminating that position. But there's a lot of stuff Dave could do day to day that we wouldn't have to hire somebody else
Yeah,
to
but
do.
listen, figure it out though, is Dave a full-time employee?
No.
Part-time, right? And so, it depends. If we want to have, but see, that's like having two people doing sort of a similar job where you decide
Right.
Dave in and the other guy be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was here's Dave's capability level from A to L. He can handle these kind of things. From L on, we go straight to this contractor.
Yeah.
We don't need a contractor come in here and open the scales. That's Dave's job.
Yeah.
Or to mow the yard,
That, I
or
agree,
to sprinkle.
right? So we're talking maintenance and preventive maintenance on these buildings, not the operations and.
Yeah, I just think the day-to-day stuff.
I agree.
including the light bulbs. I mean, you don't need to call. a
No, you don't need to-
contractor
no.
to
We
change
need
them
new
all.
lights in the
So that's where you're
the
asking
smoke
for.
detectors. There's no reason to bring a contractor in to do that. So that's what I was thinking. Now, how that fleshes out, I don't know.
Yeah, and I wasn't looking, I agree 100% with that. Because mowing has to occur, that's not maintenance and it's ground maintenance, but it's not the building maintenance. So anything that affects the building itself, the integrity of the walls, the leaks, the heating, the electric problems, other than light bulbs.
Yeah,
Let me bring it for instance in and say the new door going in at the sheriff's office.
That would be the big
Yeah.
picture.
Is that something that he would be doing, or does Shannon need to go ahead and bring somebody
No,
just because of the situation over there?
no, it would be that contractor's responsibility to respond because it's the same thing. You still got to get a contractor in there to do it. But that would be a big picture case where it would require a major repair that would blow the little maintenance problems. And that would have to be agreed to, just like it was with us.
What's the incentive? Let's suppose it's the one that you end up contracting with is like, let's say an HVAC doesn't do doors.
Mhm.
I mean, what's the financial incentive for that person just to be the go-between? How does that person get any money out of the deal?
Yeah, he's the general contractor, and you're right. That has to be included and that's something that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
But that's true. You're paying him to manage it
All right.
and deal with these other contractors. So that would be a cost that they would have to propose to be competitive. So, that's what companies do. And so they're going to have a subcontract management process, and they're going to have some time involved in getting that guy out there and being responsible for the program.
Okay.
and then
That's a bid.
I was just thinking, where is all this going to shake out in the county's policies for requiring competitive bids on anything over $5,000?
That meets it, because that bid initially, we're instead of doing it every time there's a major thing, we are competing their capability right now to provide those services. And that's a competitive bid. And each year it's looked at, and if they're measuring up, then we're giving them a 3-year chance to maintain continuity, and then it has to be recompeted.
Yeah, so let's say that we need a new roof. I'm not sure that let's say there were 4 companies that went through the bid process to become our contractor.
Mhm.
I'm not sure that overrides the requirement to get 3 bids on how much the roof's going to be.
What you're doing, you're doing that up front, Tom, when you compete every contractor in this valley gets a shot at it.
Understood, like pre-qualifying. However, they're not going to be able to pre-bid a roof.
No, they're
When that instance comes up and they say, well, it's going to be $65,000. We say, okay.
Mhm.
Well, there's no bid process there. We just have to take him at his word, right?
That's right. It's the same, but it's the same if you did it. We still take them at their word when they bid it.
I
But
don't,
we have 3 people bid it.
But they did that up front for the, already, see it, you're already competing and you're.
I understand
you're competing the fact that they're going to be, and that's what they have to propose to us is, in order to be competitive, what's the price going to be to do that repair?
Well,
And so if it's $50 an hour, whatever it is, that's what they're going to know. And when they bid, the ability to be competitive, they got to maintain that cost with that subcontractor. So, see what we're doing, instead of they're bidding that they can make those kinds of major repairs. That's what we're evaluating them on when we hire them with those subcontractors that are involved. And so that for them 1 year, the roof on one of the buildings breaks and that guy is obligated to complete that job within the cost. It's really cost plus materials. So it's the hourly rate, it's labor plus materials. And that labor price is what they're bidding to be competitive against other contractors to get that main contract, the prime contract job. See what I'm saying?
I do, but they're not going to know that until that incident arises.
Well, but they know that in general, if there's a major repair, what are they? That's why you have the bidders conference where they're looking at the buildings. They understand the construction capabilities, needs for this particular building.
Right.
Tar roof.
Kevin, have
Go
it.
ahead. I was answering.
Yeah, I got you.
I appreciate what you're saying, because I think if you need the roof patched, that would fall under this contract.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think if you're replacing that roof,
Then
I think we need to go for that bidding
Maybe
process.
so.
So I think we need to decide that, because that's not replacing this roof completely is not necessarily a maintenance project. That's
Capital improvement.
yeah, that's true.
But maybe the prime contractor, we direct him on those deals. You have to go get 3 bids and submit those to
That's
us.
true.
Then we still go through that. bid
That's true.
process. Instead of him getting his brother-in-law to put a roof on, instead of 67, it's 87,000. That's exactly why that's in the policies.
And that's not a bad idea.
So they could have to, the prime contractor would have to present 3 bids on anything over $5,000. That's what the policy is right now. It's $5,000.
And I could agree to
I
that,
like
work
that
with that, but if we got a leak and they need to come smear some tar on it, this guy can just take care of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
that's really what I was looking at. Now, you're right, as far, and replacing a heating system or a heater. I mean, that should fall within the same thing.
yeah.
But if it's a major construction, you're right. If it's a major project that involves pulling walls down and re-mason, that involves several trades, I agree. It would have to be.
Yeah, I mean, unless we change the policies, that 5,000 is in there, it's in there for a reason. Somebody decided that could have been
And
15 years ago, that
we can
5,000
change
now
that.
could
Now,
be
we probably
10,000.
should change that.
But yeah, if it's over a certain dollar amount, then you're gonna have to bid that out and give those bids to us and let us.
Well, see, and that's another reason that they would, I agree, because I hadn't gone that far out. I hadn't looked at it from a major point of view. Because I was looking at the maintenance and preventive maintenance. But that's why they would come in here and say, you really got a problem. No, we can't patch it anymore and we can't replace a couple rafters and then put some tar paper over it. We're gonna need to replace the whole darn roof. Then I agree. And I think that would be a great idea to have them handle that process and come back to us with, okay, we've competed it. Here's the bids and we can open them up just like they do.
Maybe we could look at budgeting $10,000 a year, or whatever that number is, and then say, okay, any individual project under 5,000, just deal with it.
Mhm.
If a project comes up at 8,000, then we're gonna have to bid that out. Anything over
Or-
5, or whatever that
We
number
need to
is.
consider it, and then it may not require a bid out because it might just require buying a big expensive heater. And then we'd have to go find the money. That's the point, but it would be a case by case. All right, so you want to agree on that?
Yeah, I think that moving forward is acceptable approach.
Okay, let's agree on the limit then, because I don't think 5,000 is enough.
Yeah,
In this, in the prices that are going to look at, I just priced out a CDX, some piece of plywood, and it was $70.
well, for maintenance and repair,
You think?
I mean, we had that HVAC work done was $5 or $6 grand. I don't remember, we just paid that last one, it was 5,300 or something.
Was that repair on the
That was-
machine or?
Well,
repair
it
on
was
the roof?
replace,
That was a replacement.
But that was only partial cost of the replacement.
right. So again, I think we have to be careful. If we throw out a big old number,
Well,
then we open ourselves up to, okay, we got to get this bush removed. And you can do that under 10,000. Well, it's going to be $8,000. Okay, go ahead and do it. Because we've already approved you up to 10,000 when it's an $1,800 job. See, once we throw a dollar figure on there, then
right.
where's the accountability?
So let's pick a limit that makes sense. So they need to prioritize it. And that's where it comes into how we have the discussion with them on that bidders conference, what they are accountable for. If it's routine maintenance and repair, it's probably a smaller pot.
Mhm.
If it goes above that, make a major change in the hardware, then we have to see it.
Yeah, I'd say probably on maintenance and repair stuff, $5,000-6,000. I don't know. You open that window up too much.
Yeah.
We're gonna pay maximum every time. And are we talking about an annual basis, X number of dollars per year?
Per year. And then we limit it to that.
Are you talking about the annual max or the individual occurrence, which amount? are we
It
talking
wouldn't
about?
matter because if it exceeds that, then we have to convene and.
So let's say it was 10,000, then we'd never know until he expended 10,000.
Right. If it's, and that could happen just with little things on all the buildings we've got.
Would you be better off looking at?
Oh, wait, here's something else I left out. They're obligated to come and give us progress every month, just like these staff reports. They need to come in with
Right, but not authority to spend. They could have already spent the money.
and maybe if they're responsible, they would say, I've got 3 issues here. It's up to you guys to prioritize what I am going to do because I'm getting close to the end of my budget.
Right.
They have to give us those reports.
Right, but if we've got them on a 48-hour notice, they're gonna get the work done, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole
Well, to
point.
respond, only to respond to looking at the problem and figuring, and we're not giving them 48 hours to fix it.
Okay.
And so they still have that, and that's part of the criteria in the, that we would have the contract spec out would be, okay, so you've analyzed it, you've got a budget, and you have to prioritize that budget need.
Right.
And you got X jobs lined up over the next 3 weeks. Are you gonna blow the budget or not? They'll have to come in either on a monthly basis as a routine and then on a case by case as they look like they need to manage that budget more closely and get ready to ask us either for more money or agree to the priority.
Right, well, we have to look at this during a budget hearing. I'd say $10,000 a year and anything over 5,000 has to be brought to the commissioners and bid out according to the policy. That's the starting point.
On major
So-
things.
A thought,
Yeah,
you got 4 trades. Now, I understand you're going with one general contractor. But if they bid it X number of dollars per hour, because they usually like to,
that's how they're gonna
bid
have
it
to
per
think
hour.
how they
So
do it.
they bid this as X amount of dollars per hour. per trade,
Mhm.
because that varies. And then add those limits in there.
Mhm.
So if somebody calls to get the fan replaced, okay, well, the electrician's gonna come in, he's gonna charge you $30 an hour.
Mhm.
And you know, he's gonna take 2 hours to do the job, so that's a $60 bill. So we're looking at that, and is they're gonna come in here and bring a backhoe in and take that tree out, that bush out?
Gets a little more.
Okay, you know, that's an hour job, and that's gonna be at X amount of dollars.
Yeah, and so let's use your fan deal. So we're in at $60. We're gonna get a $75, $80 invoice from the contractor because he's gonna make money on it, no doubt. Whatever that is.
And if he doesn't, I mean, he's not gonna bid the job if
No.
there's not a few dollars on it for him. And
He's gonna
so,
have to make money along the way as well.
Well, say, all right, so that's covered now. And remember, he's got that pot of money and he's gonna be managing that pot. And he wants to make sure he meets the criteria, right? And the hourly rate is whatever he has an agreement with the subcontractor. It's up to
Right, he
him.
may say, my contract with the county is $100 an hour.
Right.
If I can get you to come do this work for $60 an hour, I just made
But that's
$40
the
an
agreement,
hour.
that's the agreement.
And that's fine.
That's true. And that's the agreement he has internally when he
With his
bids
subs.
his team. It's a
Right.
team he's bidding against another team. And we're gonna look at it and say, okay, we know these contractors and they have to give us the credentials on each of the subs. That's what you're evaluating the team against. This guy's got a great team. I'm not so sure about this, but the overall look for this particular team looks like the one we're gonna run with. And he
Yeah.
has to manage that to stay competitive. Otherwise, he loses the contract that year. Even if it's the fault of that HVAC guy.
Right, but I don't think we're gonna evaluate the subs.
No, he is.
We're gonna evaluate him based on his bid. We might not even know who his subs are.
No.
Or what their rates are.
No, they have to disclose that. That's part of the, that's what we ask them to do as part of the contract. So if we don't have confidence, you gotta have confidence. I've done this a lot with major spacecraft contracts, for example. When you get a team together, in order to be successful, you evaluate the total team capability. That's how you would want to have it done, because you don't want to pick the wrong team and then blow it because you got a guy trying to squeeze money out of a small contractor, and he's a critical part. Same with this. Now you've got this contractor here. He wants to put the most, and this is the beauty of it, is we're really competing in greater depth of this county's capabilities. The contractors all have a shot at it. And we end up with the best team if we get a chance to look and weigh the electrical guy that he's got against the electrical guy this guy's got. And that's part of our selection criteria. It's not just cost.
Yeah, but as a county commissioner, generally speaking, I'm not gonna go with electrician subcontractor, electrician A versus B. I don't give a rat's butt about that. Right? My confidence has got to be on the prime
That's right.
contract.
Yes. But Tom, you will know enough about, like you said, and that's the case on these other things. You have expertise in electric and something else, let's say, and and you dealt with a lot of these other guys, and you say, oh, that's a pretty good team he's put together.
I could see that happening, but just like the concrete guy we talked about this morning,
You didn't know him from
I
Adam.
I don't need to know him.
Right.
All I need to know is contractor A,
That's right.
he must think he's good, but I'm not hiring the subs. We're hiring the
That's
prime,
That's
right?
right.
So I don't know. I just
Well, we're
think
hiring
that's,
the team. Got to keep that in mind. It's not just that one guy.
But the team can change. I mean,
I was
he
gonna
might be 3 months in and one of his team members just quit. He's no longer able to do the work, and so now he's got to go find another team member.
That's true. That could happen.
Right.
If it's
I
and
can see
that's
it
good.
happening a
You know
lot
why that's
here.
good? Because now it's not our work. He's bringing in, he doesn't want to lose that
Yeah.
contract. And so he's going to get a better guy in for us.
So,
It's not
yeah,
going to be our job to go find another guy.
right.
but the general's gonna be the one that's ultimately responsible for
Right.
what takes
And he's the
place.
guy that team member could lose the contract
Right.
for him for. So he's going to have more incentive to keep it.
Well, I'd say let's continue on and see. Obviously, there's more layers to this onion probably than what we realize there might be moving on, but I do think we have to honor what's in our policy about the bidding
I
process.
like that.
If that's in there, I'm good. I think we need to deal with the prime. What happens on the next layer is not up to
Not up
really.
to us.
It's up to them. And then stick some dollar limits in there and.
All right, let's,
move forward.
You want to use 5, 6, 7,000? What do you want to use?
Well, the bid thing, I think 5, because that's policy for now.
Okay, and
Annual,
budget of 10,000.
10,000.
Do that.
On stuff that's above Dave's pay grade, basically.
Yeah.
We don't need to be paying somebody to do what Dave can do.
No, I agree.
So,
Yeah, like I say, and so then we need to, moving ahead, we'll need to figure out where
what
that
that
one
is,
is.
yeah, right,
Because,
right.
you know,
That would be case by case. That would be up to us because we're going to tell him, he's got to come in here and give us a report each month on how you're budgeting. And each incident that where he gets under, he needs to understand where to cut the line.
Right. And I'd say on daily minor maintenance and repair issues, Dave can do that. And maybe the contractor said today, we've got to replace this window. You do that or else? And Dave said, no, I'm not replacing the window.
Hey, that would
They can
be
work
fine.
together.
That's
you
fine.
know. We're never going to be able to articulate a list of everything.
No,
that
you
Dave
shouldn't
does.
have to.
So just
The
minor
requirement would be to have
day-to-day.
him talk and coordinate with our maintenance guy.
so he would need to be probably part of that conversation, I guess,
With
at
the
some
general-
point in the bidding, so they know that.
Dave, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Good, this is perfect. So we'll keep pressing on and it's not going to require a new meeting or anything, it'll require coordination. That's a great, the RFP meets what we said just now. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful about that.
It'll come up as we go.
Yeah, I'm not sure us making decisions via email is the smartest route to go.
Well, it's not a decision, it's, we
We can have input on it, but eventually we should look
We'll have
as
to-
commissioners at the RFP.
Oh, yeah,
We'll have
no,
to-
that's what I
yeah, we'll have to
said.
vote on the RFP.
That's what I said. We have to agree on the RFP.
Okay.
But getting it tweaked and set up beforehand, I think, if we have input on it. And then, but we'll have to have it as an agenda item.
Which would be 30th of this month.
Well, we meet on the 20th again, but who knows?
Or yeah, on the 20th, maybe we'll have it ready. All right. Anything else?
Good there.
All right. Additional items of business
None?
and public comment.
I would like to clarify a couple of things about my opposition to the Justice Center. I think folks are under the impression I don't think we need a Justice Center, and I do. I just think we're needing to reduce it, not expand it. That's my problem with the Justice Center.
Reduce
I got-
what? Say that again. Reduce
I
the,
don't think the jail specifically can justify expanding. I know the jail is wrecked. I work there. You guys know that. But what we're missing is the number one step that I've always been asked for in a scenario like this is you have to justify the traffic before you can expand something. A school, for example, you're not going to get a bunch of money to expand a school unless you've got a bunch of new enrollments, et cetera.
So the need
Same
needs to
process,
be there.
the need should be there. And that's what I cannot get from anybody. Okay, the needs assessment that is out there on the website is a facility needs assessment. Is it a wreck? Is it this? Is it that? There is nothing in that needs assessment about justifying any expansion of these facilities. This is my opposition to it. So I'd like to read something because there's been a lot of things happen in the last couple of weeks
okay.
that don't really paint the greatest picture for this. Since I began learning about this, that's my main opposition. I don't think we have the criminal justice traffic to justify the expense to expand that jail. That's really what it is. If we take housing out of county inmates out of the picture, In the normal process of our county, there is no way you can justify expanding that jail. I've asked for the information since the first meeting at Tony's about this Justice Center sometime in May, I think it was. And I've been basically given pretty much silence, essentially told to investigate things on my own. I recently asked the Justice Center Committee to sit with me for an hour. And Bill, that's based on a talk me and you had, because I wanted this to be a formal agenda. I wanted to get Judge Hunter in here and Shannon in here. And I wanted to talk about this actual assessment of what we need, not the building need, because I agree the building's a wreck, and I agree with that. The expansion is my problem. It's
The
two
buildings, and which building you talk about?
all of them, the Justice Center, the courtroom.
Courtroom and the jail.
And the jail.
Okay.
So that's what the thing is, and I've got no response to those from the committee. You didn't allow me the meeting, you pointed me back to the committee. I emailed the committee and we got a reply, and I asked, let's sit for an hour and let me go through this list. 15 days ago, actually. No reply.
From who'd you send it?
Well, the Justice Center Committee, I sent it to Ann. Ann sent it back to me. She replied a couple of things, and I said, hey, that doesn't answer my question. Let's sit down, let's hash it out. I was 12 or 13 days ago, and I have no email, nothing. She offered to say, here's the needs assessment. Here's a box of materials you can look through to show everything that's happened. And I asked for that stuff 13 days ago, and I don't have that stuff. It's not mine to go dredge it up. It sort of is, because that's what I've had to do. So with that, the question is, this is the problem. The question of what's going to happen if we don't do it, right? Let's say this fails. What's the contingency plan? I haven't found one anywhere. I've never been in charge of anything where I didn't have the needs assessment, the risk assessments, and a contingency plan if it fails. It seems like, and I could be wrong, it seems like the county as a whole has thrown all in on this Justice Center.
Right.
We really have.
Yeah.
And I know why. I do know why, because it's not something we can ignore forever.
Right.
right.
So
Let me,
go ahead.
go, how, you gotta.
I got some questions. It's really, that's where we're at.
Let me answer, let me
Sure.
talk about that
Yeah,
first.
please.
I think we all agree, yeah, and initially when we set out, the needs assessment looked at, okay, the needs now and the needs 25 years from now. And then when you looked at the 25-year mark, that required 2 courtrooms, the jail with, let's say 90 cells or whatever it was. And because we're betting on the growth occurring like we thought it might do. Then when they came back and said, look, that's going to be very expensive. What can we really swap? And that would be, what can we do immediately to correct the safety issues and the condition of the buildings, okay? That resulted in throwing a courtroom away, throwing a bunch of cells away, changing the design and making it modular so that you could add it as the needs increased. Less expensive process to go ahead and use that wall now and let's put another set of cells on the other side. And that was based on what our current caseloads are and the crime rates and all that kind of thing. Now, and the fact that we wanted to be able to house females. Now you can argue whether it's more expensive to ship them out or to keep them in here.
But it's not an argument, it's math.
I know, I understand.
It's
And
not
so,
better to do.
but in the end, that the reason it was agreed to is because it looked like the right thing to do. And a lot of people went through that, including us.
Sure.
So, and so I understand what you're saying. I just wanted to point out that that didn't go unnoticed, Chris. The fact is we had to reduce costs, and that's what caused it to become, if you look at a big picture number, the $18 million, if you could build it instantly right now and finance that over time, which of course increases the cost because you're paying interest. So that's the thought process. And that's how we ended up where we are now. Now, what can we do today? Now, go ahead and.
Okay. Thank you. We are being told as citizens that if we don't make this happen now, it's going to cost us more and that we're essentially kicking the ball down the road. Right? That's basically the message we're getting. However, I point to you guys. Did not the BOCC kick down the road for 3.5 years, disabled access to this building? We've known about it for 5 years like that. There's no disabled access to get upstairs. And we know about that. Kick that down the road because you can't afford it right now. I'm just making a point about this, about kicking things down the road. Fire evacuation plan for this building is a miserable atrocity for upstairs. I brought it up 2 years ago. I know it's existed for probably a decade like that. We're kicking that down the road.
Well, see, that's.
Because it's not addressed. Bill, there's no way to justify that. The
No, I'm
problem
just saying,
exists today.
eventually you
It's
had,
been kicked down the
I
road.
agree, so we stopped kicking it.
We didn't. We
No.
kicked it 3.5 years ago.
No,
Well-
but now we have, though, Chris. We recognize you have to quit kicking it down.
Well, I get that. I get that. So for
Part of the
3.5 years,
plan-
we were okay to push it. I'm sorry, Tom.
Well, I was just gonna say, part of the plan was to get everybody upstairs out of there.
And expanding the facility does that. Because it gives new facilities for
Right.
areas we can vacate out of the building and it
Right.
pulls everybody from
It's
upstairs down the building.
So-
That's the big thing.
Without spending
Yeah,
money.
so I just say, I don't think we're kicking that down the can because that was part of the conversation about what are we gonna do with vacated space here when the Justice Center's built.
Right.
Number one priority is get those people out of upstairs and use that for storage. It's been ignored for a long time.
Yeah, it's been ignored for a long time, and that's my thing, like,
But see,
we get pushed back as citizens, if we kick this down the
that's
road,
what, but well, we don't want to kick it any.
nobody wants to kick it, I don't want to kick it either. But
And
this
we've
is-
learned, take a look at Round Mountain. They kicked down the.
Yeah, they need $8 million or something for.
So now it's gonna be a lot
I
more.
know.
So we're saying now, we want to stop and we're gonna have to buy now in order to stop and do the right thing. And the price of money, Chris.
Oh, I know.
And if we really want a reason to do it now, it's that.
Oh, I get you, I just paid 9 something for a 2x4 yesterday, that's
I know.
madness. You know what I mean, and nothing's getting cheaper.
Okay.
And so I have some questions, so did you know 85% of the court traffic in this county is civil? Did you know that, Tom?
No,
Did
I
you know
know
that,
they're
Bill?
way above my.
Did you know
pay grade.
that, Kevin? Did anybody in this room know that only 15% of the traffic in there is criminal?
Mhm.
Did we know that?
We
That
knew
is a
we
major-
knew it was less.
So that's a major thing. So did you know that as of today, the court docket, all the way out to the end of February 22, there's only 150 people on that docket to pass through this court system. And 22 of those is all that's criminal. Only 22. 60% of all those people are being seen virtually. That does not support an expansion of a jail. 13 guys in 6 months that are actually going to use that facility. How do you
Well,
justify that?
I'm not sure you can draw a parallel between the use of the court and the use of the jail.
Well, with criminal, you can't, because the criminal cases that originate here directly go to that courtroom.
Not directly. They eventually may end up
Right
in
on.
court.
So there's still a court docket with a criminal court docket number that posts up in this jail, this courtroom eventually
Right,
by our arrests.
right.
13
So you're
to
making,
the end of February is all, there's only 13 bodies. Shannon's blotter is only putting 3 or 4, maybe 5 arrests a month in that jail over there. And they're all drunks. They're all domestics who only require 1, 2, 3 days of incarceration before they are out. They are not long-term inmates over there. That jail will be empty most of the time if we don't house out-of-county inmates.
which by the way, is real. That's a
What's
state,
that?
that's a state issue. They're wanting all the counties to share their.
Well, that's great, Tom, Bill, but we want a president that doesn't seem like a traitor.
No, I'm not talking about the president. I'm talking
No,
about the
we're
state.
talking about
of
wanting something. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Just because the people say expand your court, what about the 2 reports I supplied that go against expanding it?
And the other.
Have you read them, Bill?
Yeah, I got it. I understand what you're
No,
saying.
no, I'm asking you,
No, what
did
they-
you read the 2 reports I supplied
Yes,
that directly refute expanding jails? Did you read them?
yes. yeah.
Did you read them, Tom?
I did not. I looked
Kevin?
them up.
I did not.
Comparison, Fremont has 2,400 cases till February. JP has 1,300, but the last 5,000. We only have 150. Where's the risk assessment for housing out-of-county inmates? Because as much as everybody denies that that's what's going on over there, I know better than that. It's on the needs assessment. One of the main pages of the needs assessment is guess how much money we can make off this big
Right.
expanding jail.
Nobody's ever denied that.
So we can't do that. We shouldn't be doing that.
However, we said we can estimate $80,000 a year in revenue housing inmates. That was never,
$80,000 a year is,
that was never a reason to build a new justice center. That was a fact.
right, so
That was all.
it doesn't, we go
Wasn't a
back
reason.
to, if you take out of county inmates out of it, there's no way you can justify expanding that jail. It's really.
But what you can do, Chris, is understand that that projection, that's just your guess. It's going to change given the state of the immigrant flow in and crime rates changing. We don't know. But we do know it's possible and it will get bigger. We do know.
You
that.
can't budget
Now,
something like
but
this.
but that's not the reason to do it now. The
I need
reason to do it
facts.
now is the courts are driving it too. So I don't want to spend, I'm not going to spend the taxpayers' money and build a single courtroom and make it good. And then they'll go worry about putting a jail together
I
later.
get what you're saying.
So we're saying, let's save the money because we know we're going to have to eventually upgrade that jail, period.
How many-
one of these days.
We got what? Literally 12 bed capacity now, right? And I believe the new jail is 18 or 20 beds.
18 and I've
Okay.
seen
All
different.
right. So if we look at that difference, that is the expansion of the jail by 4 beds or 8 beds, whatever that is. Does
And
that make sense what I'm saying?
It doesn't really equal that way
Okay,
because a new construction is something totally different than a renovation.
exactly. True.
And I get
But
that,
when you
but-
say expansion, you can't warrant expansion of the jail. We're talking X number of beds to the proposed number of beds with the new facility.
But
I'm
even
not
your
discounting that.
example, Chris, is not correct either, because with the jail taking advantage and leveraging the construction cost savings, because you're tagging it into a new construction where you're sharing walls and you're sharing the bigger picture of the management and all that other kind of thing that cheapens that cost, rather than going and building a new jail later. You can't do it that way. Now, it'd be hard to build this center without, if all we did was put a courtroom and some DA offices out there by itself.
That's not.
That's what the
Yeah.
choice would be.
Can I ask you a question? I know you have other questions, so.
I'll let it go.
Do you think not necessarily capacity, but the total jail is adequate for Custer County?
If you stop housing out of county inmates,
Okay,
100%.
okay.
Talk to Ann Lawachi, she's been over there for 15 years. There is no way that you will fill even that jail
Okay.
with Custer residents.
I said
Custer arrests.
other than capacity,
Yep.
laundry room, kitchen, booking, interviews,
So that's the other.
is that
so
adequate?
It is not the greatest scenario,
Okay,
but there has not been any deputy assaulted because of those facilities. There's never been a deputy assaulted transporting guys to this jail. Never.
Right.
There's never been an escape during a transport. The only escapes that have ever happened are procedural that happened from the jail. And the last one where they stole the van, me and Shannon got into a big old stink about the keys hanging right on the unsecured wall. And I got bashed about it by him and Chris Barr because I was bringing things up. And you know what he told me? We're not DOCC, Chris. We're not DOC. We don't have that kind of budget. We can't do these key security things. They stole the van because of that. If the girl was assaulted and that escape happened because we were understaffed and she had to carry the keys inside it, that's a procedural problem. It has nothing to do with the facility.
see, and I don't look at this justice center as the jail, let's talk about the jail, as a huge capacity issue. I look at it as a facility issue.
And I don't disagree.
Okay, all right.
I don't disagree that there's facility problems. I just think we've gone in the wrong
We've got a
direction.
$7 million problem.
Right.
That jail, just like it is.
It's not true because the needs assessment, even you guys' needs assessment says all the issues can be remedied for under $1 million. The lowest cost thing. I looked at the thing today. Well,
That's just a
we talked
repair.
about the
Chris. We're
jail.
talking about, I'm just
You
talking
brought
about
up the
jail. I'm
jail.
talking
If
just
I
about
could
the jail.
repair the jail and get it safe for 900 grand, that's a lot better than 700 or 7 million. And the facility problem with housing females, we spend $5,000 a year to transport females down the hill. And they got 2 pods worth of female stuff in that, or $5 grand worth of transportation costs. There's no chance you can justify that. There's no chance. There's not gonna be a world where $1 million
Chris,
expansion
Chris,
of a
you were
female
right
pod.
for today's case. But you're not
There's
right.
no
You're not
trend.
right for 10 years from
If
now,
that's true,
or even
it would be
5
a
years.
graph.
from
It
now.
would be a graph. Where's the chart showing me that trend and increase thing? I've asked for it. I can't get it. The only research I have is stuff I have to find myself. So I'll continue my question.
But you got a good point there, and that data can be,
And it's 4
what they
years
did
old.
when
Is it even valid anymore?
they did project, no. The one the latest one that is available, I think is like 2 years old, where they projected the 25-year curve and then they cut it back from there down to now. So there was some thought given, not just a whim, on what the growth rate would be.
We only average 3 to 5 arrests a month here. One
I know
female
right
every
now.
3 to 4 months. That will not fill that jail the way it is. At all, not one day, not 1 month would it ever be full of Custer arrests.
Okay.
We
We're
are
not
gearing this
looking to
thing.
fill it.
What's that, sir?
We're not looking to fill it.
Well, they are. They are. They're housing out of county inmates to fill those beds to make money to cover.
We didn't ask for that. That was.
I know you didn't ask for that. I'm stating a fact. I worked over there and that is the way that it is. And I disagree with it. I think we should make it a county policy not to house out of county inmates at all. Why take the risk? If it's only $40 a day or something, everybody makes it seem like it's not about the money. Why do it at all then?
It's $58 a day.
Yeah, and it's more than that because the report I gave you shows the state of Colorado thinks it's closer to $90 a
I
day.
thought it was.
Well, I mean, we get reimbursed
Yeah,
58.
you only get 59 and it's closer to $90 a day.
Right.
So you're in the hole there. That's my point. Housing out of county inmates is a mistake for this county.
Okay.
I asked one question to the rest of this whole day, because there was some other stuff I was going to get into. If we vote this down, if the citizens vote this down, are you just going to ram it through again next year?
Yeah, I almost got to that last night at the American Legion question and answer
Sure.
period, because that question kind of come up and it got derailed. And I thought about it on the way home. If this gets voted down this year while I'm a commissioner, I will vote to put it back on the ballot every year until it passes.
So kicking it down the road.
No, I didn't kick it down the road.
Citizens are.
Well, that's
The citizens
If
kick it
we
down the
say
road.
no,
Well, that's
if
fine.
we say no, we should go with a different plan.
We
If you're just going to kick it down the road, there's no point.
That's not kicking
Get
it
what you
down.
want then. Tell me, I mean.
So here's my perspective of that. And in a way, you're on track. Here's where my thinking is for that. I, as commissioner, had to decide before I ever voted, is this what we want or is this what we need? I said to myself, this is what we need. That's why I will continue to vote to put it on the ballot until that need gets met,
As is.
as is.
Not a reduction, not a reshoot, not a new needs assessment, because it'll be 5 years old next year.
Right?
Well,
Not a new assessment.
we
not
have to
a new risk
revalidate
assessment.
that and justify it, just like we did this year, Chris. We looked at
It
it,
doesn't seem
validated
so.
it.
I gotta tell you.
But let me finish.
But that's why the process is that's why we're elected. We're representing you
Yeah.
also. I'm not gonna make a dumb decision on not enough data. And you help, citizens like you help when you bring questions up, and they have come up to us during this whole process. This is a 3-year deal that we're into right now.
You know,
And I don't care what happened 10 years ago.
So let me finish. If something happens between November 1 and let's say, or November 2nd, and let's say August next year, new information, new concepts, new data, whatever, to say, okay, guess what, Tom? What you thought was the need is no longer the need. Then I will consider that.
So let me ask you this then. Say we shoot it down this year. Would you as a board agree to do a new risk assessment and a new needs assessment based on traffic? Not the buildings. We know the buildings need repair.
Right.
I would like to see a needs assessment justifying the expense for expansion. That's it.
Chris,
I don't think you can justify the.
I agree. And we did that. I don't
haven't seen it.
understand.
Where's it at? It doesn't have anything to do with the work we're doing. It has nothing to do with court traffic and cases.
Yes,
and
it
arrests. It has to
It
do
did when
with
we-
the lacking building facilities.
We did it, and that's what.
Where is it then?
It was, listen, it wasn't about, I feel like we need 10,000 square feet. That isn't how it happened. It happened because they looked exactly at those issues. They interviewed people. They interviewed everybody that was around at the time to say, what is your traffic flow? What is the DA load? What is the courtroom? What is the safety issues? They did all that to come up, not with the footprint, they came up with a body count on what they had to take care of and the mission that they had to do. That's how it evolved. It wasn't, well, I think we need a new thing and I feel like taxing the people and.
I get that, I know.
Okay, I know.
So I just want to say, okay,
So
I think it's
my
gonna
point
get
is,
shot down.
well, let me finish. We have to do that. Tom is 100%
I'm
right.
just saying.
I would never
it's been
even
4
vote
years
to
now.
continue and put the same thing on the ballot next year without saying, okay, why did it fail? What we're pushing the citizen. I don't want to have my kids pay a lot more money when we're forced into doing something that we can't afford. So we would go back to the underfunded courts and we would absolutely have to say it failed here, and they're very supportive and say we need another assessment here to make sure we revalidate what we've got and change it if required.
And
Period.
they would fund another assessment.
They would.
They would. Risk
But not the
assessment.
same kind of assessment. We need a risk assessment.
That's what we
That's-
did, Chris. We did
Where's
a
it
risk
at,
assessment.
Bill? I haven't seen it. The only needs assessment on the county website is about the facilities. This building needs these things and it's not reasonable to do this.
Okay, the
This
reason it's not on the
building needs that.
website is because that's how it evolved to a summary level.
That's.
One of the
a big
reasons
question
we
mark.
came off of that 36-bed initial
Right.
proposal back to where we're at was based on a needs assessment. We realized we don't need those many beds
Now,
and we can't
Right
afford
now.
them. Right? So the same with the courts. Judge Hunter said, you know what? We can't afford it. That was the number one decision. 2, we can get by without it.
we'll share the district and then.
So that was a
county
needs
together.
assessment. We may not have hired a company out of Denver again to do that. I'm not opposed to looking at another risk assessment, needs assessment. We're crazy if this gets voted down and we don't say, okay, let's back up and look at this again. Now, when I say I'll continue to vote for something every year for something, it may not be another $18 million
Okay.
exact package.
That's
That'd be
fair.
It'll
insane.
probably be a $30 million package now.
If you do a new risk assessment.
No,
If
it is.
they,
It is.
if this county votes it down,
Okay.
my opinion is it will be because of the money.
Maybe.
I don't think this county is educated enough to say, we're going to vote no because you don't need this.
Yeah, and that's our bad for not letting.
That's right.
you know that.
And the other thing,
Um,
though, you look at the big picture, 18 million. A typical home in Colorado is $300,000. You know, that's a 10th, 15th of what the cost of this center is. It's that per square foot, it's a pretty cheap deal right now. And it honestly is for what we're trying to get out of this system. But now's, and my point is, now's the time to strike. If we wait, no, yeah, maybe the needs assessment says, well, you don't need 18, you get by with 16. But that doesn't save anything.
What if it said 5?
Even five. In order to do that, it would cost more in the inflation and the cost of money than building the 18 now. That's what I'm not their opinion. That's an opinion of many people.
Maybe they're idiots.
You know, right now in Custer County, the residential cost of buildings right at $200 a square foot. This Justice Center runs at $600 a square foot. If you take the jail out of that, that'd probably drop back to $350 a square foot.
Not
No
even
question.
that.
It's,
I just,
Except for the
my
specialized
opposition is
equipment
the
that's in there.
expansion of it. I don't disagree that we need to remedy our
okay,
facility.
expansion, define
Of the
expansion.
jail, the
from-
jail housing.
So if we put 5 cells in that Justice Center, you'd be happy.
And no females. Because you're gonna waste money, you're gonna waste manpower, you're
And
gonna
we'll
waste
waste-
resources on 3 or
Okay.
4 bodies a
And
year.
so what do we do with those females?
Send them to Fremont for $5,000 a year like we've been doing for decades.
And Fremont says, if you're not willing to take our prisoners, we're done. We're no longer have an agreement with you.
That's a hypothetical. No one knows that.
Well, it's
No one ever said
hypothetical
that.
what you're giving us to, Chris. It
How is that?
Do you think it could
Because
happen?
you don't think that we're gonna have the need.
Fremont would say, if you're not gonna house our,
No, I don't think so.
okay.
I really don't think Fremont, we have a big connection with Fremont. Everybody over there worked there. They have huge connections over there. Fremont is not gonna
Okay.
diss us like that. I don't think so.
Okay.
I would not think Fremont's gonna get us like that.
I'm assuming we do house Fremont County prisoners now.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but
Just, it's needs based. You know, if other counties want to send somebody because whatever reason, because we got empty beds, and I've been told many a time to get on the horn with these other counties find us bodies. We gotta fill this jail. That's my opposition.
Okay.
That's my opposition. And I like to say, if it gets shot down, we should agree to do a new risk assessment, a
Well, that
needs assessment.
goes without saying. I agree.
I
I agree.
support that.
There's nobody that would ever dispute that, because I'm
Well,
not
it's
about
just
to
been this one.
put it on the ballot like it is. If it-
This one's already got 4 years worth of life in it, and lots changed since it started. A lot. And I think fiscally it's changed. The
And
construction costs have changed.
if we
Our
did
threat
a
levels locally have changed.
new set of assessments in 2022, I guarantee you we wouldn't get any traction until 2025 or 2026.
So
That's
then
just
what
the
do
way
you
it
do?
goes. It's 4
So then
years
what
old
do?
again.
Do you just wait again?
No, you keep pressing on.
Well, that's my thing. This is where we're at right now. So let's say that happens. And you come back and we don't pass it this year. And next year they say, oh, Tom, it's gonna cost you $35 million now. And so what do you do? Say, well, we'll just lobby for another 4 years and try to get it
No.
again? And let everything just be broken
No,
for now
you-
8 years?
No, well, you heard him say we would do it immediately. The needs assessment would occur and we would put it on the ballot next year.
Right.
Period.
It may not be the same thing. It depends on what the voters and to the best of our ability, what we can decipher why the voters voted it down. Was it because they didn't believe we needed it? Was it because it was too much money? Whatever that is, and we have to react to that.
No,
I've been saying,
Chris, I'm gonna, on one last point now,
Sure.
then I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, no problem.
Last night, and every time we talk to anybody, it's changed their mind. Last night, there were people that were against, and when they walked out, they saw the need. And they saw the need, the value of how we were gonna raise the money and make sure that it wasn't just this county's taxpayers paying it with a mill levy on property. But the fact that we're doing a sales tax on the tourism that's coming in here, and that's probably more than 50% of those people paying for it for us, which is a fact. And saw that now's, and what sold a couple people was the fact that now's the time to do it. If you don't do it now, then you're gonna waste money.
Did you
Because
tell them we only arrest 3 Custer County people a month?
it didn't matter because yes, it
Bill,
does.
It does matter.
It does, Chris, it doesn't matter.
It
And
matters
that the
that we
need
take
was
care of
based
this
on now and
So
what
then, if
was
that's your
projected.
argument, if I draft a resolution saying we don't want to house out of county inmates ever again, and I get 300 signatures, will you guys pass it?
Probably not.
No, why?
Not enough.
Unless the
Why?
sheriff's department supported that.
Why? Why do we have unnecessary risk?
If we average 3, what are we gonna do if we have 7?
We have,
Transport them.
we got Fremont, 1 or 2 bodies here and there. It's not that high. Look at the blotter. It's not that high. That's my point. I'm good. Thanks, Tom.
You know,
I just want it to be reevaluated if it fails this
Right.
year. I don't want to kick the same ball down the road again. I think it's overblown.
I would never not do that personally.
Okay, good. But threat assessment, not needs for facilities, a threat assessment. That's a totally different thing, and that's where we've missed the ball here.
The facilities needs is based on that threat assessment, Chris, and the risk,
The
the
document.
risk.
It doesn't
And the
say in the
safety risk
document.
as well to people and the inmates and the person.
When bringing in
That was it.
felons from other counties across from the high school is a bad practice.
Right.
It's a bad practice. Why would we do that? If all I got is drunks and domestics over here for 2-3 days at a time, why am I long-term storing felons at this jail across the street from the high school? Those are the folks escaping. We've been lucky to haven't done anything bad to the county yet.
And we're lucky nobody's been killed.
Yes, we are lucky.
And
it's
that
procedural.
doesn't mean that it couldn't happen.
Of course
It
not, but
doesn't
it's
mean
not
that
the
it shouldn't
jail
be
that's
safe.
gonna
It
get
shouldn't.
them killed.
It's the heck it isn't. Look
No,
what
it could
happened.
be a very
How did they
arguable
escape in
point.
the first
What's
place?
That could be a very arguable.
yeah,
Yeah.
The jail
Could be the jail.
It's procedural.
And
The problems they got are procedural.
you say it's
and
procedural,
facilities.
but it is not entirely.
And they'd have a holding room that just got the
What's not
door kicked out.
Where's the death threat? that's
The
not procedural?
facilities itself could be the problem, including right now, the locks that you can't even find replacement parts for and fix.
They can't,
Things
it's
of that-
expensive. Shannon fixed that lock for $100 last time.
It's not happening now. It's $100,000.
Well, that's what it was for a long time, and then it
And
came back.
anyway, and then the
all of a sudden.
holding room that they've got, it got kicked out the
The
door.
holding room is
People-
not what they say it
they
is.
shouldn't
There's
have
two
the holding room. No,
rooms,
there's
2 of them.
You think they're lying?
I'm not saying they're lying, I'm saying they're not telling everybody the whole thing. The threat assessment is the problem. We walk people in the back door in the fenced area to a holding cell. They're not walking through the front door like it says in the paper. It makes it seem like we're walking inmates through the front door of that place right by Paula's office, and that's not true.
No, we've never believed
No, no,
that.
you can't
No,
say
the
that.
front door is.
Front door was when they were talking
It's the
about
only
the
mention I've
courthouse.
ever heard of a front
Yeah, the
door.
only front door was
Candace
ever
made some
talked.
comments and was quoted saying some things that are.
Well, then they weren't quoted correctly.
Maybe
The only front
maybe
door
that's
they
totally
marched
not.
people
I don't have
through
any problem.
was
with it. I don't
taking them
think
off
he's
of
a
this
crook.
hallway and through that front door over there. That's the only thing. And as far as the jail was concerned, it was how you transport them over there, get them in the, past the kitchen, out the back door, into a car, holding them there
There's
at
cameras
risk,
and
and how they can get
a
loose.
bunch of deputies everywhere,
And you
and
didn't
never
need-
anything has happened.
And you didn't need to have them transported with people around. And you need, if you're connected to the building, you can bring them in and out.
There's no exposure like that. They go out the back door, they get in a vehicle. They park in that spot right over there that's marked for us.
It's always a
And they walk
risk.
right over here. They don't come through the front. They're not exposed to people. They're not walking down this hallway.
That's
Well,
right.
Chris, you gotta admit, man, when they walk down a main or on the sidewalk connected to a major artery to this county, they're exposed to people,
Well,
right? I
they're
mean, you
exposed
can't.
to some people
Okay, all
on the
right,
street.
okay,
We're
yeah.
not talking about foot
Easily
traffic like
somebody
that.
could sit across the street and snipe one of those prisoners. Easily could happen, right? That's threat assessment. Could it happen?
The likelihood would be zero.
No,
So
not
that
zero.
Threat assessment, not zero,
Okay.
but it would be low. You
All right.
wouldn't get into the other threat.
So when we
categories.
get into the whole
It would be
threat
low.
or needs assessment, that's going to be somebody's opinion based on some data, correct? A threat assessment.
Probably, yes.
We have tried not to say, well, this could happen and this could happen. We could end up in lawsuits. We could end up getting somebody killed. We've tried not to say that publicly because the chances are minimal,
But they could have.
right? But they're
I
not
could be
zero.
president too.
They're not zero, right? That's my point.
Not if you don't run.
There you go.
If we're
If we don't
not,
do the threat assessment, we won't know.
if we don't transport a prisoner through that front door, then that's zero. There's no chance somebody could sit on the street and kill somebody if we don't bring them through there. Right.
You're barking down some unreasonable path, Tom. I gotta
Now,
tell you.
why?
Somebody's shooting an inmate over here. Come
Yeah.
on.
You brought up threat assessment, right?
I'm talking about threat to county citizens, not the inmates.
Okay.
Both.
well, we
Okay, you
have
bring
a
that same
responsibility
inmate
for
down
both.
through the main aisle between the two rows of the gallery. Okay. There's exposure.
I've done it
There's-
lots of times and there's never been one body in there when I'm
Okay.
walking through, because we bring them early.
But you have
Never.
to at
And I've done
least,
it.
Chris, be willing to say, all right, I'll listen to what you're saying because we're trying to do that to you.
Sure. And you guys are also, I
If
gotta
we're
say.
bringing prisoners in the front door of the courthouse, marching them through the gallery, is there a chance? Yes,
Sure, he could fall into the street and die too.
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
So there you go.
We're just.
To your
No, yeah,
points,
you're
to
right.
your other points, the same thing could happen on the flip side of your points.
Right, but
So
so if
it's
it's
your
possible, no
opinion.
matter what we do, how do you
So-
justify $7 million to fix that?
Okay.
When it won't fix it.
Okay.
That's your opinion.
It is.
And so I'm glad, and by the way,
And I'll be here
let me say,
every one of these
and I
until
told you
both
this
of them.
before, Chris. Yeah, I welcome and we do your
I
opinion.
know you do.
And I invited you to go into, you could have been at the Legion meeting and saying the same thing last night and letting everybody else to listen. Because it matters. It builds consensus. It might change somebody's idea and say, okay, maybe we don't need the female pod. But if we eliminate the pod, what does that really save in the design? Probably nothing much because it's a set of walls and what is it, 30 square feet is all it is. Not very much. So, but it's still something to consider. So that's why I wanted you to have time and have us come here and talk to us like you did. And so there's still some opportunity. We can go to, I don't know where the next one is now.
So let me ask, so I'm gonna do a video and explain things from a different.
There's issues with the video. You
Okay,
heard
so what's
about
the
those.
issue? No one's ever
Well,
replied to me.
you're gonna have
Tom,
to.
you're the only one that replied to me. No one else said anything.
I sent
No.
an email from a response from the courthouse.
I
That was
did not get
the only response we got was the courthouse says you can't do that except by whatever it was. There's restrictions on what you can and can't do. in the
So
video.
no one's replied to me on that.
She did.
I did.
I never saw that. Whenever you sent it, I never got it.
I was here when she sent it.
I'll look for it.
So go get it. And
Did you
the
send that
bottom
to
line
his
is you're
personal
more
email or
like we
his
said,
work
you can
email?
film anything you want as long as it's not some law that says you can't or
Which
some procedure.
brings up another
Can I
question.
film?
Huh? Yeah, but
Can I film? I mean, that's the question.
you
right?
can,
I'm doing
but
today.
there's some constraints.
She's checking to see which email she sent it to, but that does bring up another question.
Okay.
In regards to things of this nature. I would strongly suggest that you use your personal email and your personal time
For the film or what?
for, how should I say, political aspirations.
I take time off for every single thing I do. in this
Okay.
town.
There have been a lot of emails coming through again off of your work email.
No, okay,
So that,
all the requests.
whether it is or not, it presents a picture of
Bring up a good point.
propriety. So
So don't send requests to you via my
When-
work email, send it to my personal email.
if you are referring to when you're doing things on some of these emails that you've sent through your work email, those should have been personal email.
My mistake, I won't do
So,
that again. I thought I was talking to you folks mostly. I didn't think of that. No worries, I can fix that.
So that's my suggestion on
I
that.
know you're cognizant.
I'm not telling you not to send those to us, but you need to be
No
aware
problem. I'll
of
send it from
what
my
you're
personal
using.
emails.
All right, we need to move on.
So what was the final verdict? Can I film or not?
But
Because I want the courthouse opened. I want to film the back door, the inside of the courtroom, and I want to
there's
film.
some constraints and I don't remember what they are, to tell you the truth.
And you talked to Judge Hunter and she deferred you back to us.
That's correct.
I don't have a problem with you filming in the courthouse. Obviously, go through Mike Halpin because he's their security.
Sure.
And
There
if there's
were some
nothing going
issues.
on, what's the harm?
I don't want to cross issue. That's why I asked for it. That's why I
There
requested
was,
it.
there was
I
a,
sent it on September 30th at 12:59 PM to Steve Bryson at CusterCountyGov.com.
Right, so that's not a valid email. That's not my
It's
email.
just-
Wow,
That's the jail email.
okay,
I am
that's the
cartographer.
proper,
Okay, it's
So cartographer
cartographer
at.
at,
See, I didn't know that.
yeah, and I wouldn't have either.
I didn't,
They changed my email when I moved to this side of the house.
Yeah.
So you're cartographer at CusterCounty.gov.
CusterCountyGov.com, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah.
take a look at it and film all you want,
Okay.
by the rules.
I'm responsible. Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys, but I am gonna film it, and can I get the film put on the Justice Center website? As opposition to the project.
I'd say we'll look at it when you get it done and
Fair enough, that's fair
I
enough.
think that as to that email that was sent, there were some issues with him filming in the courthouse or in a courtroom.
Yes.
But whatever
could
it
you
is,
read what they were real
I
quick?
sure can. Pull back up.
So,
Because I thought
And that's-
basically if the courtroom was not being used, he could film it.
except for some, I think.
Chief Judge directed 18-02, order regarding electronic devices in judicial buildings. Concerns have arisen concerning certain types of improper uses of electronic devices in the court buildings in the 11th Judicial District. The court recognizes the need to have a policy in place that facilitates normal and proper use of such devices while prohibiting improper uses and thus issues this directive. Directives of this nature are authorized by Chief Justice Directive 95-01. The court hereby offers the use of all electronic devices, including but not limited to cell phones, personal digital assistants, PDAs, laptops, computer tablets, e.g. iPad type devices, and all devices capable of capturing photographs or creating audio or video recordings is strictly controlled within court facilities. Prohibited uses include all photography and videography.
Videography.
Thank you. Including sound recordings, broadcast sound, and the broadcast of still or moving images. More highly restrictive access in an individual courtroom, if applicable, at the discretion of the judicial officer shall be posted at the courtroom entrance. 1, in all hallways and public areas of judicial buildings, including the probation department, all areas other than courtrooms. Electronic devices may be used so long as such use is not disruptive of court proceedings. All devices, including cell phones, tablets, laptop computers, and PDAs, must be set to vibrate or silent ring settings and may never be used to capture images, videos, or sound recording. Use of any type of audio or video recording device, including but not limited to cell phones, laptop computers, or cameras in the clerk's office, at the clerk's window, or jury assembly room is strictly prohibited without express consent of the court. A judicial officer may further restrict use and possession of electronic devices that is disruptive of court proceedings or creates a potential danger to anyone in or around our court facilities.
Let's stop there for a second, Tina.
Okay,
I believe all of that is geared towards when court is in session. I don't have a problem with him filming in that court when it is not in session. I don't think Judge Hunter does, or she'd have never gave us the authority to tell him. I agree with that. When court is, if they were having court, you wouldn't even ask. I know that.
That was
You'd say, "I'm not
line
gonna
number
do
one in my request, like I get
So,
that part.
I'm good with it.
And you wouldn't be filming crowds or non-crowds.
I'm not filming
You're just filming an empty
person.
room saying, here's where they come
This
in,
is
here's the door.
facility.
You are not going to disrupt court
No,
proceedings,
sir.
which was one of the lines
No,
right
sir.
there. So I'm fine with it.
It's empty afternoon and that's if, like the docket says it's empty this afternoon. If I can do it this afternoon, I'm gonna do it this afternoon. JD's giving me the time off to do it if I want to.
See, the only issue I could think of in this new modern world is terrorism. And if you film a courtroom and you can.
Well, they filmed in there already, Amanda.
Yeah,
I'm not issue, it's not an
We
issue. I'm
got
just
stuff on
saying,
the website.
Right.
and then
Yeah.
somebody goes in to film and then drops some bug under a seat. You know, and all that kind of stuff is a worry.
Sure.
And if it was, Judge Hunter would have told him no.
Yeah.
She deferred to us.
All I want to do is show the facility as it is, explain the process from the jail back door to this door here. And I would like to see if I can put it on the.
Can you film it during
on
the snowstorm
Justice
for
Center.
us?
What's that, sir?
Can you film it during a snowstorm?
I'll do it if you like
Show
that.
them walking.
But I'd like to put
ice.
it on the video on the website if I'm not, because I think in the,
I don't want
Effort
to inmate
transparency.
suing us because he slips in the
I
mud
think it's
puddle.
fair. to do
Yeah.
that, to let it-
Well,
Hurts
I hope you think it's reasonable. We'd like to look at the video
Of
when
course.
it's done before
Of
we
course.
give you permission to post it on the website.
Well, that's not, it's the request is, can I even put it on the county website? The Justice Center website is where I'd like to put it. I'm gonna post it where I want
I
because.
think you
But I'd like
want
to
to
put
post it. I mean, nobody goes to the Justice Center.
Well, let's look at it and when we get it
I'll
done.
get it done and
If
then.
that's your request, we'll consider it.
That
Thanks,
works for
buddy.
me. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yep, see ya.
Adios. Anything else? Public comments? Anybody out there still?
BSO, that's it.
Yes, always.
Well, he
What?
turns it on and does his work. I'll let money on that.
What a hero.
Uh,
Okay, any other items, guys?
Only thing I wanted to bring up before we adjourn is this whole fuel system thing based on this morning's activities. I think it's reasonable for us to ask non-county entities to help pay for their percentage portion of the upgrade. I don't have a problem with going to capital improvement and covering the county's
I think it should
portion of that upgrade, excluding road and bridge. See, Sheriff, Jackie,
Well,
I don't have a problem paying that out of capital improvement.
I
I
think-
do want road and bridge to pay the lion's share of that because they're a restricted fund and we're paying them
well, you have to do.
Yeah.
as taxpayers to do that stuff. I wouldn't support paying that whole fuel upgrade out of capital or number 10 general fund. Because we're paying, as taxpayers, we're paying for that separately, basically.
Yeah, and they're the lion's share of the fuel
Sure.
consumption.
Yeah, 87%.
The sheriff's office comes in second.
So
Right.
But
So that's the only thing. And
I agree, except I don't think you'd calculate it down for an upgrade. I think you charge the outside entities more money.
well, that's,
Cost of fuel is $10 a gallon instead of $2, whatever it is.
the fire department's agreed to pay their share up front. That's his preference. He sent an email to Gary and said, hey,
I wouldn't even do that, really. He's department's part of us anyway. So.
no, fire department has nothing.
Oh,
to do
fire,
with
I'm
that.
sorry, I was thinking, you said sheriff.
Oh, no,
Yeah, no, fire department.
fire. chief.
Fire has to.
So he was willing to pay his share up front, which I would prefer that over
Yeah, I agree.
a gallon price because we recover that upfront cost.
Actually, it all ought to be.
So it would really be the two towns, fire.
that's basically.
Why wouldn't we ask for,
One of them.
I'd rather see the towns pay a $10,000 price or whatever.
Well, that was why we got the percentages. So that's what I'm saying. I'd rather
do it that than gallons.
I'd rather instruct Gary to say, communicate with the non-county entities on a percentage basis. And county entities will cover that excluding road and bridges portion out of the capital improvement. which is kind of what everybody's been suggesting. I think it's reasonable.
You think, Kevin?
I think so. For the most part, sheriff's office uses quite a bit, but for the most part, everybody else is a very minuscule share.
Right.
Yeah,
That
that's
they
why I
use,
don't even want to mess with it.
So I think that
Or you can pay it out of capital improvement.
plausible to do that.
I'm trying to pull up that deal he sent us yesterday.
While you're doing that, can I point out,
Here it is.
we should ask Tina too. I mean, that took a lot out of her reading that. Like she did.
So we need to,
Yeah, I mean, I, the way it came up, it was hard for her to
Yeah.
read that and breathe at the same time, so.
Sorry,
Well, we all got wound up with it. That's all.
yeah. So road and bridge uses 70, I'll round them, 73%. The sheriff, 16%. Which is $17,000, and that was to his point. He said, well, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm gonna add $17,000.
That's right. See, my point is, we're paying for it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Within the county.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I'd say then that leaves the ambulance.
And
Search and rescue,
see, what we're doing is
Silver
actually,
Cliff, West Cliff and fire.
we're actually going through the budget process now. We're just done them for that amount of money, and they're gonna have to readjust their money.
Well, I'm just suggesting let's indicate to Gary what we think would be the best approach to go, so he can move forward before the budget process. That's all I'm saying. And I'm suggesting any county entities will just cover that out of capital improvement.
Should be.
Good with that?
Mhm.
and so then if we're good with that, then
I'll do it. I need to talk to Gary.
so then where we pay for that portion, then we would actually move money from capital improvement to road and bridge,
No. You just buy it,
because they're buying the initial system.
Right.
but they would buy it and then they
We can-
invoice us.
We can transfer dollars in.
Right, but I
transfer.
don't
We
think
can't
we need to, do we?
When you voucher it.
You just voucher it as all you
Invoice it.
Voucher
invoice.
this much that's gonna come out of capital outlay and
Right.
this much it's gonna come out.
You don't transfer the money.
So we don't actually.
No, you
have to
don't need to
that.
transfer
Okay, that's-
anything.
We could invoice it that way.
So would you agree or disagree that search and rescue is not part of the county umbrella? They don't submit us a budget. We don't deal with them other than
the building.
building. That's all we do. So I'd say the fire, West Cliff, Silver Cliff, search and rescue. Everything else on that
Sheriff.
list is, well, the sheriff's under the
I
county.
know. Yeah. Oh, the other one, you mean?
Those are the only four that I see that we could ask to contribite.
I wouldn't.
And the highest one of those is $3,800.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do that. I just charge them a little bit more for gas.
Well,
They don't have any money.
I would leave that up to Gary. As I just indicated, though, Knowlton said he'd rather pay upfront than.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Yeah, so that would
But
be,
I wouldn't ask search and rescue for
You wouldn't?
it.
Why not?
Charge them more for the gas,
Well,
because there's not that much, and it'd be silly, they don't have any money to give us.
yeah, to me, it's one or the other.
I know.
We either ask them for price per gallon or we ask them to pay their upfront, right?
and what's their share?
Like $3,800 for the year.
Search and rescue is 0.004%, $433. It's not a lot of money, but that's not the issue. It's not
No,
about how
I
much
was
money
just
it is.
curious.
It's about what their share is, right?
So that, yeah,
0.00 would be $10.
but
they're gonna
I
give
was
us.
wanting to know the figure.
Yeah, it's $433.
So
So in my
They-
opinion, that's
they should
what
be able to
we should
budget
ask each
$500.
one of those.
they should be able to budget $500.
Right.
So,
Right. And to address what we were talking about, I'd rather see them pay the money up front because we got to pay the money up
That's
front
what I'm going to do.
rather than dollar per gallon later on.
I agree.
So, so it'd be those four entities then. And you're going to communicate this to Gary.
I have talked to him.
So search and rescue, Silver Cliff, West Cliff Fire. Okay, that's all I have.
Kevin, Clint, got anything for us?
No, I'm just feeling sorry for Tina right now, actually.
We took it out of her. I didn't see her.
I told her,
That's why I had to give up singing opera. I just couldn't breathe and
Just couldn't
sing
do it
at
anymore.
the same time, so.
All right. I think we're at the point where I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I'll move to adjourn.
Second,
We'll move to second and adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Tom,
Aye.
Kevin,
I,
Ken, aye.
Yeah, so and then
Did
hopefully
she cut
Gary,
the feed over there?
no, and I'm not sure how to do that.
hopefully Gary will communicate that inter-county government, so those folks know they don't have to budget that. Or do we need, well,
I suppose when you visit with him, you could have him send out another email to all the entities.
yeah, because he did.